give us a few minutes. As you can imagine, we want to make sure we capture this. So if you have your cell phones for photos, videos, you're going to want to get this. We've got a great night planned for you with a lot of great stories, I'm sure. I heard some in the green room already, so we'll see if some of those make it out here. Everybody snap away, and then we'll have these gentlemen take their seats. Everybody good? One more? Okay. All right, gentlemen. You can take your seats, and we're going to get this rolling. I also want to give a shout out real quick. Last night we had a meet and greet, and the inaugural class last year, some of the guys came back to welcome these guys in. It was nice to see Ray Freeman, Bernie Kosar was there, Coach Tom McDaniels is here tonight, so it means a lot to them, obviously, to come back and welcome this second class in. So good to see them back last night. All right, time now as we get everybody seated. Time now to give a hand to the founder of the National High School Football Hall of Fame, former Harlem Globetrotter and Harlem Clown, 28-year professional career and 5-time Naismith Hall of Fame nominee, and 2019 American Basketball Hall of Famer, Lamont Showboat Robinson. Stand up, Lamont. Thank you, Lamont. Your vision, here it is. Great job. We also want to recognize our Chief Operating Officer, Russell Johnson. Nice round of applause for Russell. Our Vice President, Dave Jingo. Our Treasurer, R.J. Van Ullman. And we have Executive Board members Antonio Hall, Len Critchko, and Administrator David Brown. And at this time, let's invite Antonio Hall up here with a few words.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Camp McKinley High School. Very proud to be an alumni here. Very proud to be the head football coach and associate athletic director here at Camp McKinley. I'm very honored to have some of the game's greatest players, coaches, and contributors to the game that we can find to recognize. This is about recognizing the people who've paid it forward and paved the way for high school football. Talking to a lot of Pro Football Hall of Famers when they come in town, they always reference their coaches. They always reference, their high school teammates, where it started. And to be able to recognize that for those people that played high school football is very special, and we're happy to do it here at Camp McKinley. I hope you guys sit back and enjoy for our second annual. It's going to be a good time, and enjoy yourself. Thanks.
Thank you, Antonio. Now we'll call up Len Critchko with a few words.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations to the team up here. It is an outstanding team from all over the United States. Congratulations, guys, and welcome to Canton. Today, in a few minutes, you're going to hear from all the great former high school legendary players, coaches that went on to play college football and the NFL, from Super Bowls to national championships. We are fortunate to have some Hall of Famers in the audience and soon to be Hall of Famers on this stage. Lamont Robinson, who I work with not only on this Hall of Fame, but the American Basketball Hall of Fame, works on this year-round with a great team. You just heard from Coach Hall. You heard from RJ, JR, Dave, and Russell, who all do a great job in the staff and the board. Lamont, would you please stand and be recognized? I know Kenny's going to get to this in a few minutes. Formerly, for 35 years, I ran boys and girls clubs outside of Boston, Cleveland, and Detroit. So for 35 years, I worked hard in the nonprofit world. I'm trying to help Lamont build not only this Hall of Fame, but the American Basketball Hall of Fame. We couldn't do it without a board of directors, a great staff, a base of volunteers, most importantly, the sponsors, which Kenny's going to get to in a minute. But thanks to all the sponsors, thanks to all the family and friends that are here today. Enjoy the program today. Thank you very much.
Tonight we gather here to celebrate the best of the best, individuals who have left an indelible mark on the high school football landscape. We will be presenting the National High School Football Hall of Fame and honors to some extraordinary individuals who have shaped the game and touched the lives of countless athletes. First, we pay tribute to our remarkable honoree. Let's honor a legendary pillar in the community whose name echoes through the halls of Stark County history, J.R. Rinaldi. J.R. has not only achieved greatness on the field, but has also been a mentor and role model for generations of young players. So tonight we present J.R. Rinaldi with the Marion Motley Living Legend Award.
Good afternoon and welcome to Canton, Ohio. Greatness lives here every day, and welcome back if you've never been here before. Welcome to the class of 2024, and welcome back the inaugural class from last year. Canton will be your forever home. I'd like to thank Lamont Robinson and Russell Johnson and the committee for this prestigious honor. The Marion Motley Living Legend Award is something that should move the needle of importance in anyone's life. It truly moved mine as when RJ called to follow up to the email I received. I just truly didn't know what to say, and I still don't. Marion Motley was a man of courage as he faced the evils of our country as a young man. Sadly, these same issues have gained steam recently, and it's up to us to not accept anything short of decency and respect towards one another. We need to do better. Canton has always been my home. To my family, I can never make up for the time that I've spent away in my career. But thank you for loving me. Without them, my life would be meaningless. To Kimberly, my fiance, you truly deserve an award, as I am a really large pain in the rear end to manage. So give her a round of applause. I didn't get this far by myself, and all the cities and major league teams I've worked for, they are the true heroes of this award as they trust in me. I worked in Cleveland, Milwaukee, Texas, Indy, Nashville, Huntsville, Phoenix, Helena, Montana, and Ogden, Utah. I've been everywhere. But I worked with great people. They are the true champions as they believed in me and what my vision was when I arrived. I was the original fixer back in the day, and we made an impact in every city we touched, but I never left Canton. It was ingrained in us from the start that what we do is for the greater good of any purpose. Being an equipment guy entering my 40th year and being a part of Kansas City Schools has given me a firm foundation that has lasted for decades. Thank you. Being able to retire from Major League Baseball and bring that experience back and come back home and work for the city I love is a blessing. Listen to some of the things that we've accomplished together in this short time. The community approved 2 levies, and we are building 2 new K-6 elementary schools for the Canton community. New additions and numerous existing school buildings for our kids. Downtown, we are building a 120,000 square foot indoor health and wellness facility for our community. Cleaning up the neighborhoods one by one. Across the parking lot, the Frank Turk, Alberta football complex. $7 million of joy for our kids. That's the stuff that we're proud of. We have a great relationship with Mommy Bay, and we got the field from the Superdome donated to us, and now at Crenshaw Middle School, we have an NFL field with a brand new track and a whole new field event area. That's just in a middle school. When we talk about Thurman Munson Memorial Stadium, then Mayor Burnaby at the time and City Council entrusted me to bring all this experience that I've done my whole career all around the country, bring it back and perform a multi-million-dollar remake of Thurman Munson Memorial Stadium. Diane Munson at the ceremony hugged me and just cried. We preserved Thurman's legacy here in Canton, Ohio. Most of all, Canton-McKinley baseball, that's their home. That's the ballpark I started my minor league career in 1991, and we renovated it, and now it is just a gem. Get online and check it out. It's beautiful. Canton City is on the move, so get on board that train, as the OJs would say. Just have a couple names throughout my journey, because it's been a journey, and I've been blessed. At Canton-McKinley, Mr. Blosser and Vern Russell. Now, Vern Russell was the only guy that could wear a red polyester suit on the field at McKinley-Massillon Day, 2 o'clock, sunny, and Vern looked pretty good. I always told him he looked better than Billy D. Williams, but Vern could pull that off. Coach McD can never repay you for what you've been to me. Memories of Turk, thanking Shim. Jimmy Harris. Jimmy Harris and I have been together for 40 years, and if we were married, we'd probably have 40 divorces, but don't talk about Jim in front of me. I love him. And the Lakeview crew. I took the job in Indianapolis, sight unseen. And some of these guys have played in downtown Indy. I rolled up on Victory Field and thought I died and went to heaven. A brand new ballpark that is still gorgeous. Those people were awesome to me. Scott, Carey, Pax, Magoo. Max Schumacher was the longtime GM there. He is a legend in minor league baseball. Let me tell you that I've worked in some pretty bad ballparks. The old ballpark in Indy is where they filmed 8 Men Out. And the only thing the movie crew did when they rolled into Indianapolis is they took the Miller Lite scoreboard down. So that tells you how bad that ballpark was. In Nashville, a lot of great people. Won a championship with Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart. And the one thing that touches my heart is Nashville's a very giving town, very emotional. A good friend of mine, country music singer Keith Anderson, we needed to raise some money for one of our community centers. They were hurting. He came up, played a concert. We raised about $75,000. And actually, Eddie was in Keith's XXL video. Check it out. Huntsville, that's a different city, 2 hours south of Nashville, but it's not the same. Buck Rogers was our GM. He was awesome. I was blessed to work 15 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Spring training was a treat as Bob Uecker would come down every day and just talk crap to you every day. In his Cooperstown speech, he talked about Tony Miliaccio, my major league counterpart. That's what equipment guys mean to people. Ueck thought so much of Tony. That's what the love is in Milwaukee. Greg Ruddock was great, Matt Bass in Cleveland. Pete Greg Lee, Marty Bokovitz, Davey Nelson, God rest his soul, was the best man in baseball that I knew. Davey was top-notch, first class all the way. We always liked Charlie Manuel because he didn't like the coaches that we didn't like, so we always hung out together, so Charlie was great. Kudos to him for not accepting what Cleveland was giving him, and he went off to Philly, and you know the success there. Charlie Manuel's top-notch. In Texas, Doug Melvin, great general manager, Zach Manassian. And when I worked for Texas, Bucky Dent comes in, and he goes, Jared, what was Thurman's buddy's name? You know, the big guy that was crazy. And I said, you mean Boot? He goes, nah, because Don Buttry. But here we are, how many years removed, and there's Bucky Dent still talking about Thurman. Rounding out, Steve Perry from the Hall of Fame, Dave Motz. It's my 40th year of running the game, the operations side of that, and now Kevin Shiplett's taken over. But everyone on this list knew about Canton, Ohio. I made sure of it because I never left. And before you depart today, please stop down at the end of McDaniel's Way and pay respects to Marion. Canton Park Board found the perfect spot for him. He is the keeper of the gateway coming up the hill to greatness. Marion is back home where he belongs. I'm truly overwhelmed with this award and will cherish it for an eternity. And the last thing I want to say is I made a donation to the association here, and I'd like everybody to get on the website and make a donation because we need to keep this moving forward. It's a great thing for everybody sitting on the stage tonight. Thank you, and come back to Canton.
All right, tonight's celebration wouldn't be possible without the support of our incredible event partners. So we want to give a heartfelt thank you to our presenting sponsors tonight: Independence Excavating, Freedom to Go Transportation Services, and the Cleveland Browns. How about a nice round of applause for our presenting sponsors? We also say thank you to our co-sponsors: Canton City Schools, Downtown Canton Partnership, Visit Canton, Fedora Football, Snap Mobile, and the Ohio Media School. A nice round of applause for them, please. Their contribution has been instrumental in making this dream a reality. Now, what I want to do here is read our mission statement, which underscores the purpose and passion behind the National High School Football Hall of Fame Foundation. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower youth aged 8 through 17 through comprehensive programs that promote physical and mental well-being, explore the rich history of sports, harness the potential of technology, and provide valuable resources for parents navigating the ever-evolving landscape of youth sports. We're not just here to honor the past, we aim to create a better future. Our focus is on fostering a love for the game while instilling important life skills and values in young athletes. We believe that the lessons learned on the field translate into successes off the field. We are accepting donations to help fund the core activities of creating the home of this institution. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and whatever you can help with counts. So tonight, let's celebrate not only the legends of the game, but also the limitless potential of our youth. Thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion. And now let the 2024 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony begin. As we get started with the class of 2024, we want to recognize several members of this year's class who could not be with us today. You can watch the screen up there and recognize some of their accomplishments. We start with Billy Sims from Hooks High School in Texas. Charles Woodson from Fremont Ross High School in Ohio. Orlando Pace from Sandusky High School in Ohio. Paul Warfield from Warren G. Harding High School in Ohio. Dick Hoke from Jeanette High School in Pennsylvania. And Doug Williams from Cheneyville High School in Louisiana. Also at this time, we want to honor members of the class of 2024 who are no longer with us in this special video. Okay, it's time now to honor the rest of the class of 2024, and we kick it off with Jeff Mitchell, a 6'2", 220-pound running back. He played high school football at Sir Wilfrid Laurier Secondary School in London, Ontario. There he developed his signature spin move in order to elude would-be tacklers. Mitchell played college football at Weber State, where in 1991 he set a 1AA single-season scoring record, tallying 170 points. He was drafted by the CFL's Ottawa Rough Riders in 1991, but chose to stay at Weber State for his senior year. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Jeff Mitchell.
All right. I'm the first one. Does anyone here know me? Come on. You're lying. I got like 100 views on my YouTube channel, so come on, okay? All right, let's kick it off, all right? Let me get this thing going. I wrote some stuff out, all right? All right. First of all, let's thank God. Hey, everybody. All right. Yeah. And I'd like to acknowledge my teammates, my high school teammates, because it was a special time. I'm going to run off after doing that, because I was just, in my mind, 65 yards of sideline. Oh, I'm going to reinvent that and then come up to the United States and live out my dream. And then I had an accident. It was shortly after I signed my contract. I was playing basketball, and this kid came flying over us and dunked. It was so nice. We went up to try to block it, and he dunked it. And I stopped the game to change my life. I said, that was a nice dunk, but watch my dunk. And I took my stacks, I pulled it back, and I hit the rim. So I knew I just needed a little bit more explosion. And I remember I crossed myself, and I'm faithful, so it still worked out. But I remember crossing myself and pulled it back and fell straight back. And my knee ended up in my thigh. It was the weirdest thing, because you're looking down and you knew things had changed. But God is good, because, you know. Now, the key is you're not supposed to focus on yourself. You're supposed to live to your highest potential by encouraging others. And this is why I think I'm here. There was a press release January 10th that said who's going to be inducted. And you don't believe it till you hear it. And when they said Jeff Mitchell, I was very high. I was like, yeah, I did it. I can't believe this. I'm going to be with these guys. And January 11th, my doctor said I had prostate cancer. I'm good. So they don't do anything quick. The whole month of February is testing for if it's in your bones, is it in your blood? Because if it's there, then it's different. It's not my bones, it's contained. It's not my blood, it's contained. March 5th, they took up my prostate, and I'm good. So, Alonzo Mourning just came out. In the last week, I heard it. Because I was trying to pull out a good speech, and I've got some stuff together, and Alonzo talked about, so I'm going to quote him. He says, what scares me most about this disease, there's so many men walking around feeling great and have that cancer in them, and they don't know it. The only way to find out is to get the blood tested and get the PSA checked. There are 3.3 million men living in the U.S. with prostate cancer, and they don't even know it. 13 of 100 American men will get it, and 25 of every black man. So, I'm going to give you the clues, okay? Blood in the urine, problem urinating, blocked urine, loss of bladder, dysfunction, pain in hips, back, ribs, weakness or numbness, fatigue. That's all I had. I was just tired all the time. Fatigue and unintentional weight loss. We're to be on a mission to be on an assignment. We're waiting for God to bless us, and we're to be a blessing for others. And if this can help one person, then this is well worth the trip. I would like to leave by singing a poem by William Ernest Henley. I hope I can rip it off, okay? Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloodied, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet, the menace of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
How about that? Wow. Congratulations. All right, our next inductee, we'll start with this. Jerry Faust's career at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, defined what it means to be a football powerhouse. He was the Crusaders head coach from 1962 to 1980, where he built the program from scratch. This unprecedented run includes 7 unbeaten seasons, 4 national prep titles. Moeller won 5 state championships in his last 6 seasons at the helm. In nearly 2 decades leading the Crusaders, Faust amassed a record of 178, 23, and 2. He also served as the head coach at the college level for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Zips of Akron. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee, Jerry Faust. And we have a special video for you all to watch right here before we bring up some family members.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Steve Sylvester. I played high school football for the great Jerry Faust. Jerry Faust was the first football coach for Cincinnati Moeller High School, and he served as head coach for 19 years. Moeller's a Catholic boys' school and was built in 1960. Coach Faust and Moeller were a perfect fit. His enthusiasm, energy, toughness, and his deep Catholic faith inspired everyone at Moeller. Each and every day for his 19 years at Moeller, Jerry Faust would stand beside this statue and pray. Jerry prayed for 3 things. Number 1, he prayed that he would meet a good Catholic girl and one day he would marry. Jerry's prayers were answered. Jerry met Marlene Abruzzo on this past April the 4th. Jerry and Marlene celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary. They are parents to 3 wonderful children, Jerry, Julie, and Stephen, and they have 7 grandchildren. Second, he prayed that he would win football games. 93% of the time at Moeller, his prayers were answered, as he won 178 high school football games during his career at Moeller. Lastly, he prayed that he would become the next head football coach at Notre Dame. In 1980, this prayer was answered, and he was named the head football coach for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. During his 5 years at Notre Dame, he won 30 games, and although he didn't win as many games as he would have liked, he left a legacy of unmatched integrity, unsurpassed energy, the highest ethics, sincerity, and humility while living his extraordinary Catholic faith at the greatest Catholic university in the country, Notre Dame. Over the years, anyone associated with Notre Dame learned to admire and respect this great man. When I graduated from Moeller, I played football at Notre Dame, and the great Ara Parsegan was my head coach. Ara is the 4th winningest coach in the history of Notre Dame, won a national championship in 1973 with me, and was immortalized as he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. I also played for the great John Madden of the Oakland Raiders. John won 7 AFC championship games, won a Super Bowl when I was there, and also was one of 370 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. My football experiences with both of those coaches were extraordinary, but without hesitation, the best head football coach I've ever had was Coach Jerry Faust. Not because of wins and losses on the football field, but because of what he taught me and what he taught the hundreds of other former Moeller players, regarding something much greater than football. He taught us about life values, and he was a true living example of those lessons. Jerry Faust is the best man I've ever known, and everyone who touched Coach will never forget him. On behalf of myself and every Faust coach player, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for bestowing this honor on this remarkable man. At this time, it's my honor to present Coach Jerry Faust for induction into the National High School Football Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
And at this time, also speaking on Jerry's behalf is his son Stevie and family members.
I'm not going to say anything, but thank you for coming and supporting.
One more time.
I said I don't have a speech prepared. I just want to thank everyone for showing up and supporting this nice event. Thank you.
Kurt Campy II was a remarkable high school football player at Cooley High School in the city of Detroit. Staying close to his hometown, the fierce competitor chose to play collegiately at the University of Michigan. As an offensive guard, Campy helped the Wolverines go 10-0, secure a Rose Bowl victory, and win the 1947 national championship. With football in his blood, Campy went on to become a highly successful high school football coach at Arthur Hill High School in Saginaw, Michigan. Campy and his son, Greg Campy, along with Ted Ginn Sr. and Ted Ginn Jr., are the only two father-son duos to be inducted into the National High School Football Hall of Fame. So everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee, Kurt Campy II. He's represented by Greg Campy.
I'm not going to go as long as others, but not as short as you. You know, you learn as you go through life, one of the hard things in life is that you lose people, and you lose your loved ones. When I lost my father, for all of my siblings, it was really difficult. And then as you go through life, these great things happen to you, and you always look at each other and you say, man, I wish Dad would have seen that. I wish he would have been here for that. So it's kind of weird that he's going to be honored and we are here. His children are here to see it. It's kind of just a strange quirk in life, but I can't believe, you know, I was lucky enough to go in last year, and this means way more to me to be standing here today to accept his award. He was a great man, and we all say that about our dad. A couple quick things about football. He kicked a field goal to win the PSL championship, the Detroit Public School League championship. And, you know, that might not seem like much, but this was 1941. They didn't kick field goals back then. And he had this shoe that was square, and he had to change the shoe to put it on. And, you know, it was just a different time. But the biggest thing in his life athletically was winning the national championship at the University of Michigan. The first word I ever learned in my life was Michigan. Now I compete against them in my job, and I don't say that very often. But he passed away in 1997, 96, but on the 97 Rose Bowl, his team was honored. Michigan won the national championship in 1997 also, and they had won it in 1947. And the team was going to be rewarded a ring because in the 40s they didn't get a ring. And so that was a big thing in his life. They were having the reunion of that team, and he was the chairman of the reunion, and he passed away and he didn't make it. And Lloyd Carr brought my mother there and presented my mother with his championship ring. So those are kind of the greatest memories I have of him. He was, as a high school football coach, he believed in all the things that the old school did. I think he would be shocked today if he saw some of the things that were going on, but, you know, he believed in the team. He believed that life was a team sport. He believed in respect for authority, and he pounded that into his children. And I think everybody up on this stage, one of the things that all these people here have in common is great belief in the team and that life is a team sport. And he's been gone 28 years, and that's something that I'll never forget. So, Lamont, thank you for doing this. Thank you for putting him in. His family is very, very appreciative. Thank you.
John Cooper played high school football at Powell High School, located just outside of Knoxville. Cooper, a quarterback, expertly ran the single-wing offense under head coach John Clabo. He went on to play college football for Iowa State, being named the team captain and team MVP his senior year in 1961. Cooper had football in his blood and never really left the college game. He landed his first coaching job in 1962 as the freshman coach at Iowa State. He eventually became a head coach at Tulsa, Arizona State, and Ohio State, tallying a record of 192, 84, and 6. Cooper was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008, and today he adds another Hall of Fame to his resume. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, John Cooper.
I had my notes all written out here telling you about my background and all that stuff. You already heard it. I grew up out in the hills of East Tennessee. My dad was a carpenter. I'm one of 6 kids. And my dad told me, we'll get you through high school and you're on your own after that. Story, I walked in my coaching office and he was coaching to a sporting goods salesman, which they do a lot of, as you high school coaches know. And he introduced me. He said, this is John Cooper. He's my quarterback. Said he's a very smart football player. He said, someday, John, you'll be a good coach. From that moment on, all I wanted to do was coach high school football. High school football. But I wasn't good enough to get a scholarship in college, so I went in the Army. Came home on furlough, married my high school sweetheart 67 years ago. I went to Iowa State University, as he told you already, graduated from there. My coach let me coach the freshman team a year. Then I went to Oregon State for 2 years. We went to the Rose Bowl in 1964. Oregon State has not been back since then. Our staff left there and went to UCLA. Our second year at UCLA, 1966, I think it was, we beat the University of Michigan State University in the Rose Bowl. Until this day, that was the best college football team John Cooper's ever seen. Michigan State in 1965 or 16, I think, was Duffy Doherty was coaching up there. Bubba Smith, Gene Washington, Harold Lucas, Jesse Phillips. I could go on and on. Great team. Anyway, then I wanted to get closer home, so I left and went to Kansas. We had a couple of great players, Bobby Douglas and John Riggins at Kansas. Took us to the Orange Bowl. And then I left Kansas and went to Kentucky, getting closer home to Tennessee, my home state. Coached at Kentucky for 4 years. Then I went to Tulsa as a head football coach and athletic director. And I want to emphasize the athletic director. We had to start ladies golf. Title IX, we had to start women's golf at Tulsa. So we hired this lady who was 6-time state amateur champion to hire and get women's golf going. 2 years later, we're national champions in women's golf. You ever heard of Nancy Lopez? Recruited Nancy Lopez. 2 years later, won the national championship. Anyway, I coached 8 years at Tulsa. I went to Arizona State, and we won the 87 Rose Bowl. We beat Michigan in the 87 Rose Bowl at Arizona State. I left there after 3 years and came to Ohio State. I got to Ohio State, and I found out there's 3 things you got to do if you're going to be a head football coach. You got to recruit, and you got to recruit. I found out real quick that team that's got the best players usually wins. And we did a great job recruiting. Bobby D up here helped me coach, helped me recruit. I mean, he would take me when I came up here to watch a high school game, take me to watch the game, take me back to my airplane to fly home. helped us with summer jobs and stuff like that, and that's one of the reason I'm in the Hall of Fame. I love that guy to death. He did a great job helping me. But we had great players, and you're going to hear from a lot of them up here tonight.
That's to victory in the 1972 Grey Cup and was awarded the game's MVP. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Chuck Ely.
Wow, what an honor for me to be here to share with you. I want to give a lot of thanks to what happened to me. Firstly, my group of people that are here from Portsmouth, Ohio, where I grew up and played with the Titans at Notre Dame. I don't know who else is maybe here, but my wife is here, and it's been the soul of me during this period of time. But when I first started out, I remember someone said to me, look at a man or woman the way they are, and they only become worse. If you look at them what they could be, then they become what they should be. And I know, knowing my situation with my family growing up, I lived with the projects of Ohio, and my mother was single most of the time. I don't ever remember living with my father. She had an 8th grade education, so a lot of the things with me were built around the avenue and the importance of education. And I say to young men and women who are back there who are in the sports world, do the sport thing, but understand where you can go with your education and the things that happen way beyond the sport. And that's been part of my life. And I want to thank Ed Miller, who was the head coach at Notre Dame High School, coming in and sort of taking a part of my life and making that a part of his life and being like a father to me, as I did not have a father in my home. And it encouraged me and it drove me to work with not only with young people, but also family. There is in the Google is a thing on a movie about me, but it's a documentary, and it says, it's the Undefeated, the Chuck Ely story. It's about my town in Portsmouth and what happened and how I grew up. One of the recruits that took me to there was Bo Schemblecker at Miami of Ohio. Now, Bo came in and says to me, he says, well, we want to give you a chance after you've been undefeated. You could come in as a defensive back and can come in and be the 3rd quarterback and get a poor man's account for going to the university. And I said, no, Bo, that's not good enough. And I finally went on to the University of Toledo, where that became the opportunity to build a relationship with a number of people in Frank Lauterbur. After that, when I finished after 35-0, you would think that they may bring you into a chance to play in the NFL. That wasn't the case. At that time, it was very difficult for black athletes who quarterback position to play. I got 2 offers, one from Kansas City, one from Denver, to come as a defensive back. And so with that in mind, I chose to go to Canada, got a chance to play there. So I had a good opportunity to play there, finished there, and went into business and built my career around that. So if you ever want to see what it's all about with me spending less time, not a whole lot of time with you at this time, go in there and look at this thing, the undefeated, the Chuck Ely story, and that will give you a great base on it. I want to thank my fellow Portsmouth people who drove all the way up and someplace around here. Thank you very much for coming in and the special support for me as I live in Canada now. Thank you, and I want to thank all these men on the stage here today for all the great work you do in building in other people's lives and what you do by just being a part of the game of football. Thank you, and blessings to you all.
Terrell Pryor was a remarkable 2-sport athlete at Jeannette High School in Pennsylvania, leading the Jayhawks to state championships in football and basketball. Playing quarterback, Pryor rushed for over 4,000 yards and passed for over 4,000 yards during his career. He was named to the 2007 Parade All-American team and was selected as the Parade National Player of the Year. He was also named the MVP of the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Prior quarterbacked the Ohio State Buckeyes for 3 seasons and went on to play 7 seasons in the NFL at quarterback and wide receiver. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame, Class of 2024 inductee, Terrell Pryor.
How's everybody doing? I just wanted to say it's a blessing and an honor to be amongst these men, and I'm honored to be inducted. Lamont, great job. And Coach Cooper, you said 3 things as a Ohio State coach. You know you're missing one. You know we got to beat that team up north.
Stump Mitchell attended Camden County High School in Georgia. He was an all-state running back rushing for over 1,600 yards in 1976 and was named Camden County MVP the same year. He went on to play his college ball at the Citadel, where he holds records for rushing yards in a season, 1,647, and career yards, 4,062. Mitchell was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals in 1981. He played for 10 seasons in the NFL as a running back and return specialist for the Cardinals and the Chiefs. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame, Class of 2024 inductee, Stump Mitchell.
Wow. I would like to thank the committee for selecting me, giving me the opportunity to be up here with some men that I played with and against, and also to have the opportunity to coach a couple young men that are up here as well. My life has never been about me. The goals that I've been able to achieve are not because of me. I would like for Taylor and Sandra Taylor to please stand. I just want you all to know that I love you. Greg Reed, a high school coach from Camden County High School, please stand. You know, for a lot of black athletes, it's no big deal to say that he was raised by a single parent, either a father or a mother. That's my story. It's no different. It doesn't prevent us from achieving great things as long as we have people behind us that drive us. Once you become a coach, you're a parent. As a player, both in high school, in college, and the National Football League, we question some things if the coach knows what he's doing. That's just life. As a coach, sometimes we question if we know what we're doing as well. Fans, you all do it all the time. That's the way it is in whatever sport. Having the opportunity to put 58 years of my life into football of some capacity, it's been an honor. But it's nothing like being here inducted into the High School Hall of Fame. Because everybody from my little small, right now we have 2 traffic lights, hometown, They know the names of Dexter Manley. They know Eric Dickerson. They know these guys. And just for my town to be able to say that Stump Mitchell sat on the stage with these men, it makes me proud for my hometown. There's a lot of people from my hometown recognize a young kid and they try to guide them in the right direction. My family has always been behind me. You never know what's going to happen from one day to the other. We may give you a timetable and say we're going to be somewhere, and things come up and we can't make our appointment. My family wouldn't let me not be here today. Even though it's a very sad time for my family today. Whew. Because last week, my nephew committed suicide. "35 years old. You just never know what's going through an individual's mind. This high school Hall of Fame meant a lot to my family. It meant a lot to my hometown. They wouldn't let me miss it. They wouldn't let me stay home, Ted. Nate, they wouldn't let me stay home. So we have to get behind this thing. We have to support it in every way we can. I thank you.
God bless you, Stump. Harvey Armstrong was an honors student and football star at Kashmere High School in Houston. Following his senior season, the defensive lineman was named to the All-District and All-State teams and was named the Blue Chipper. Later, he was selected to the Houston Chronicles 70s All-Decade team. Armstrong received over 25 scholarship offers, choosing to attend Southern Methodist University, playing for the Mustangs from 1978 through 1981. He was named the 1981 American Football Coaches Association All-American, as well as being selected as an academic All-American. In 1982, Armstrong was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played 8 seasons in the NFL with the Eagles and Colts. Armstrong was inducted into the SMU Hall of Fame in 2014. Well, everyone, he's going to be inducted into the National High School Football Hall of Fame in 2024. Please put your hands together for Harvey Armstrong.
Allow me to first thank the committee, especially Lamont Robinson, for the phone call I received a year ago I thought it was a prank. I really did. I really did. I was just so honored, him and Ronnie Duncan. So I thank the committee for allowing me to have this moment. But let's not get it twisted. I'm here because of the grace and mercy of God. That's why I'm here. Thank you. I get to stand before you at 65 years old and say thank you, and to hang out with some of my peers, get to stand before my family and thank each of them for their support. And it's been a journey, but don't get it twisted again. I am so honored and blessed to stand before you. This high school, National High School Foundation, the committee, the sponsors, we need to back this thing. This auditorium needs to be filled next year because it starts in high school. Each guy up here on this stage has been the best in their high school career. Their journey starts. My foundation started at Cashmere High School in Houston, Texas, where I have some legendary players there and some people there that have made this possible, that have jailed me and made me the man and the man of God that I am today. So I get to stand before you even in the midst of some issues. I was diagnosed with dementia, early stages of dementia. I have some stages and issues with CTE. And I told Stump Mitchell, I know he's here, I'm gonna get on you, Stump. Stump gave me one of my first concussions. Serious. So my wife and my 2 daughters come after you, dude, because they get to see me at home, and like some days I'm there. And so, anyway, but him and Christian Nicaria gave me my first concussion, and I say that with sincerity. But I don't want to get caught up in that because I'm a blessed man. I'm a blessed man because of my 2 daughters that is here today. One goes to my SMU honor model, and she's a theater major. My youngest daughter just graduated. She's going to Shawan University on a volleyball scholarship. And so they make Daddy so, so, so proud. They really do. And they timing me, so I said I'll be up here 2 minutes. So I'm gonna try to make this short, so Nate can get. But anyway, I have 2 beautiful daughters that I just love. They make me so proud, and I just want to thank them for all they have done. I have my cousin here that's flew in from Dallas. My favorite cousin, one of my best friend, Karen, is here, Melody. And then, I thank you guys for being here. But before I sit down, I want to talk about the real MVP in my house, the Hall of Fame in my house. Oh, that's my wife. Oh, yes. Hey. Oh, they might see Harvey Armstrong. We even have a business together. We have an Allstate agency. My name is on the door, but she makes it go. Even my home in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, Sharon is the Hall of Fame in my family. So I want to publicly embarrass her and say thank you. Thank you for all you have done. I've had 14 surgeries. She has been there for 10 of them. And she just, hey, you've been a rock, and I want to just publicly say thank you. So as I stand before my peers, I have my best friend here. He wasn't just my teammate. Eric Dickerson is my best friend. We talk once a week. He's my counselor. If I'm having a bad day, I call him. We laugh, we joke, we tell how great we were. We all know how great he was. But I'm gonna take my seat. But I just really want to thank my family and my peers and the committee and all the guys up here for the stories that we can tell and we have backstage. And don't get it twisted, guys. This day, it means so, so much to me. I don't know what I may remember in 6 months, in 3 months, but this moment, right here, with all the pictures we have taken, oh, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna remember the guys that I met backstage, even me, Stump. I hit him, well, he hit me, but I got to meet him. And so I did say I'm gonna sit down. My daughter timed me. She's like, go, Daddy. Even Nate, you know, my wife, big as Andre Rison, but I'm gonna shut up. Thank you very much.
At a very early age, Eric Dickerson developed a passion for the game of football. His dazzling running back skills preceded him entering Sealy High School in Sealy, Texas, and as a junior, Dickerson scored 37 touchdowns and rushed for 2,960 yards, earning him the Parade Magazine Player of the Year. He tallied 45 touchdowns his senior year on 2,457 rushing yards, and was selected to the 1978 Parade Magazine All-American team. Dickerson attended SMU, where the Mustang running game became known as the Pony Express. He continued to thrive in the NFL, forging an 11-year career with the Rams, Colts, Raiders, and Falcons, and in 1999, Dickerson was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then in 2020, the College Football Hall of Fame. Well, today, he completes the trifecta. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Eric Dickerson.
Thank you very much. Thank the committee for voting me in. I don't take anything for granted, especially like Harvey said, when you get to be this age, you know, you take it all you can get. But I want to say, start off by talking about, I guess, my high school career. But my high school career didn't start off like me playing football. I gotta say, my godmother, Erling Long, is the reason I'm standing here. One of the main reasons I'm standing here, because she allowed me to play high school football. My mother would not sign for me to play football. She said, that sport's too dangerous. You're not playing football. Go ask your godmother. So I'll never forget, she lived about 100 yards from me, so I walked over with the paper in my hand. I called her Mama Erlene. Mama Erlene, will you sign for me to play high school football? She said, because they called my mother Red, Viola, that's her name. So she said, well, Red won't sign? I said, no, ma'am, she won't sign. She said, that's a dangerous sport, son. I said, I know, but I want to play. So she signed the paper. I won't forget, I went back and showed it to my mother. She said, she signed that paper? What the hell? So I want to thank my godmother, Erling Long. She's been gone for a long time. But most importantly, I want to thank my father, who died when I was in November 3rd, 1977. That was the day that I'll never forget in my life. My dad was not a football guy. I can say he liked football, but he was the best man that I've ever known in my life. He was truly a true Christian, and all he talked about was God. That's all he talked about. I'll never forget, sometimes he'd come in my room, and I'm been trying to study, and he'd sit down with his Bible, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here he come with this Bible stuff. And I won't forget, he said, boy, take your hand off your face. I said, yes, sir. He says, let me tell you something. This one day, Eric, I'm going to die. He says, I won't be here, and you're going to wish I would come in here with the Bible. And I can say, for my dad, he'd come to my football games, but he would get there early with his Bible, reading his Bible in the stands. I'll never forget that. And so he's right. It's many a days that I wish that I could talk to my dad again, just to say thank you for things that he instilled in me. He instilled in me, to work hard, to play hard. And I'll say one thing that he always said, and I'll end it right here. His motto with me was, son, all that you do with your might. Things done by halves are never done right. And I didn't get that at first. And I'll never forget one day, I went out to cut the yard. I went to go play with my friends, and I got up real early to cut the yard, and I finished, and he comes out, and he said, where you going? I said, I'm going to play, with my buddies. He said, no, you're not. I said, look at that yard, boy. So I turned around, you look, and there's patches everywhere. And he repeated this to me. He said, what did I tell you? And I'm like, I don't remember. He said, all that you do with your might. Things done by halves are never done right. So that's the way I played the sport of football, high school, college, and professional. And thank you very much. And I want to thank you for this honor. And I wouldn't have this without my Lord and Savior. So thank you very much.
Ted Ginn Jr. was an outstanding track and football star for Glenville High School in Cleveland, Ohio. His father, Ted Ginn Sr., was the head coach of the Tar Blooders football team. Ted Jr. played defensive back, quarterback, and wide receiver. As a senior, he intercepted 8 passes, running 5 of them back for touchdowns, 1 for 98 yards, 1 for 102 yards, just a day at the office. In 2004, he was named the USA Today Defensive Player of the Year and the Super Prep National Defensive Player of the Year, and was selected as a Parade All-American. He also played in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. Ginn went on to play for The Ohio State University, primarily as a wide receiver and kick returner. He was a 3-time first-team All-American as a returner and all-purpose player. Ginn played 14 seasons in the National Football League. Everybody, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee Ted Ginn Jr.
First off, I want to thank the man upstairs. You know, without him, it ain't no me. Next, I just want to thank my family. Being a kid from Cleveland, Ohio, you know, in the inner city, my whole family was just Glenville. Glenville. My sister went there, my mom, my dad, my whole entire family. So the only thing I wanted to do was be the best guy out of the family in the Glenville area, you know, and I guess I took it to another height, but just giving praise and thanks to my mom. You always hear about my dad, but you never see what the mom do. And being a little guy that I am, still is, you can tell by my jacket. I've always been the smallest guy on the field, but always had the biggest heart. I wasn't always the fastest, and I created that through my dad, through track, through getting chased by many guys, through having a history of Glenville. Being a door opener was really my opportunity and my name, you know. Since I left Glenville High School and attended The Ohio State University, I was able to open up doors for countless of kids from my high school. To have a Troy Smith, that's a Heisman winner that graduated with me from my high school, a Dante Whitner, Marshawn Lattimore, or whoever you want to name that came to The Ohio State University, it started by somebody like me, or the things that I did for my old man. To sit up here and see Coach Cal, who took me off the field my senior year, you know, it's a blessing that we are coming in together. You know, just give thanks to my wife, you know, who started with me back in 2000 and what? Just know we on 22 years, you know. But to have 3 beautiful children, twins, Theodore again the third, Kirsten, Ginn and Kendall, it's just a blessing that they can see my accolades now. They're going into their own journey, going into high school this year, being able to see what your dad did, and you're walking into a new journey. Just take it with all hands. We do have an opportunity to attend the Glenville area. You know, being able to attend your own high school is a blessing. Take it for what it's worth, because that's what I did. I just wanted to be the best person my father ever seen, and I guess it became true. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to the committee. Thank you to all the guys that's been up here, that's coming up, that's been talked. It's great to be in this class. I'm a junior. I awarded Deuce in high school, and this is the 2nd annual, so I believe in numbers. So thank you.
Dexter Manley was a standout on the football field at Yates High School in Houston, Texas. The young linebacker was selected as a high school All-American and began attracting national attention his junior year, receiving 37 athletic scholarship offers. Manley selected Oklahoma State and continued to excel on the gridiron for the Cowboys. In 1981, he was selected in the 5th round of the NFL draft by the Washington Redskins. Capitalizing on his size and athleticism, Manley moved to defensive end and quickly became a sack machine, terrorizing NFL quarterbacks. He was dubbed the Secretary of Defense. He helped Washington win 2 Super Bowls. And you know what? I remember this guy. I saw him play in person, and that was a very, very accurate description. He terrorized quarterbacks. Now, Manley battled multiple demons, including alcohol and drug addiction, as well as illiteracy. He persevered eventually, learning how to read, becoming sober, and establishing a foundation to improve child literacy rates in the Washington, D.C. area. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Dexter Manley.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the committee for having me here today. But I want to tell you one thing. There's no football better than Texas. Texas got the best football in this country. And that's my humble opinion, and you don't challenge my opinion. Okay. All right. We got some old Erics here. We got this guy right here. See, I played 5A football. Most of these guys, I don't know if they come from 5A football. They're from the country. And so anyway, yeah. Hey, I started playing football when I was in elementary school at Douglas Elementary in Houston, Texas. I played football, sandlot football before school started. I knew I had a talent then. And so from that point on, I went to middle school. We won 8 city, I didn't win 8, but before me, there was 8 city championships in Houston, Texas, Ryan Junior High. Coach Luther Booker High School, Jack Yates High School came to recruit football players from the middle school. See, we won, when I was there, we won 4 city championships. Coach Booker came from Jack Yates High School, starting to recruit the players, but we wasn't in that zone. So about 5 or 6 guys, he said, use this address. I used a fake address to go to Yates High School, and it was a great career. I learned a lot. Hey, let me tell you something. This guy went to Cashman. They had a lot of great football players. He was one, but I don't know if we played y'all, but we kicked y'all's butt. No, you did. Hey, man. Hey, we was the king, man. Jack Yates High School was the king. Yeah. Now, you wasn't the king. We were the king. Okay. Okay. So that's enough. But anyway, I just want to say that it was great to be here. I ran young my front gate. See, I grew up in the hood in Houston, Texas. And I'm telling you something. They steal bicycles and they shoot one another. And my daddy gave me a hard time. I'm going to tell you something. I was functionally illiterate until I was 1985. I was 23 years old. I couldn't read and write. I went to Oklahoma State University. I want to tell you something. My daddy gave me a hard time. I grew up in the hood. Them guys were shooting one another. They killed my brother. The same guys I grew up with killed my brother. And my daddy was so afraid that it was going to happen to me. Because, see, I couldn't read or write, but I had a God of my understanding that was on my side. And I got a scholarship to Oklahoma State. Now, Wayne McDuffie was the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State. He brought Jimmy Jim Stanley, who played for Paul Bear Bryant and Bum Phillips in Texas A&M back in the 40s. And I want to tell you something. All those black people in my neighborhood, Wayne McDuffie, Jim Stanley, and Bum Phillips come walking up my daddy's sidewalk. My daddy never came to a game. But he's changed when he saw Bum Phillips and them white guys walk up that sidewalk. He knew it was something that different about me. Now I want to tell you something. I didn't want to let him down. He gave me a hard time because I couldn't read. My daddy put me in a closet. About 2 or 3 days, I'd come home from school, get in the closet. It was child abuse. I wanted to call people on him, but I was too young. Anyway, so I want to say this is that I had a great time. Football changed my life. I wasn't going back because I know where I come from. It's only by God's grace and mercy I can stand here today. I've gone through the rain, the wind, and the storm. 1985, we was playing the New York Giants. I watched LT break Joe Theismann's leg. And I couldn't read. But I stood on that sideline. I watched a lot of guys from Oklahoma State go off to school, leave Oklahoma and go somewhere else. And I watched Joe Theismann go down. I knew that I had to do something different. I went to the Washington Lab School in Houston, in Washington, D.C. It's a lab school. They teach people, adults, how to read and write. When I went there, I was 23 years old. They told me I was on a second grade reading level. I didn't want to face that. I was like Boy George. I had blinders on. So after that, I decided, watching Joe go down, there's something I needed to do. I went to the Washington Lab School. In about 6 months, I could read the Washington Post. I was happy. And then at the time I had to leave the Redskins, I went to the Phoenix, Arizona, the Phoenix Cardinals. It was a nice run. I knew my plays. I could play sufficient. I could use my skills. I went to Tampa, got in trouble. As I said, I had some clean time. I got in trouble in Tampa, had a forced retirement. I want to tell you something. God is good. Saved my life. 2006, Washington, D.C. I'm riding 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to tell you something. All these white policemen ain't bad. About 5 or 6 of them pulled me over. About 3 or 4 in the morning in Washington, D.C., they pulled me over and said, "Man, we know you're on drugs." They didn't take me to jail. They called Lydia, my wife right here, and said, "We got him." That was 2006, September the 17th. And I want to tell you, sir, I went to that. They didn't take me to jail. They took me to the hospital. I had a 15-hour brain surgery, and I'm so grateful to be here. And from that point on, I surrender. I haven't used a drug to this day. I'm going on 18 years clean. Lydia and I have been married 27 years. She married a guy like me, raised me up. See, Lydia from High Cotton in Houston, Texas. I'm from down at the bottom. But I stood up in the mud, and I step in the mud for my family. And today I'm clean and sober. I want to thank this committee for having me. Next time you bring me back, bring me some money. Thank you.
If any of you were dozing, you're not now, right? Thank you, Dexter. Our next inductee is Bobby DiGeronimo, and you've already heard his name mentioned by John Cooper in talking with Lamont Robinson before we started this today. He is a big fan of Bobby DiGeronimo, and we're going to tell you why here right now. In 1956, Sam DiGeronimo started the Independence Excavation Company with his son Don in Cleveland, Ohio. After Don tragically succumbed to cancer in 1971, his brothers, Vic, Richard, Anthony, and Robert, assumed the responsibility for running the company. Young Bobby DiGeronimo helped usher the company into a new era, overseeing Independence Excavation perform most of the building excavation projects in Cleveland. Bobby, an enormous football fan, understood that playing high school football could change young men's lives by leading them on a path to success both on the field, off the field, and in life. Bobby DiGeronimo has built many things in his life. By far, he was at his best, though, building avenues to help young men find their successful life paths. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Bobby DiGeronimo.
When I was in high school, if you told me I'd be sitting with all these people, including Eric Dickerson right by my side, I'd say, unbelievable. And I thank you, Lamont and Ronnie Duncan. I know that probably the big reason I have this. I think all of us here could say the same thing, that a motto, when much is given, much is expected. That's the way we've tried to live our life. I'm blessed to have my children here, my grandchildren, and one guy in particular, please stand up, Tommy Cousineau, played for Woody Hayes, and number one pick in the draft, played for the Cleveland Browns, and he flew in from Florida, and I'm just very blessed to have friends like that. So after I graduated from school, I thought I'd be working with my brothers, but then the Vietnam War was raging. I was drafted in the infantry, and I assumed I'd be fighting Vietnam, but Jesus had a different plan, and somehow I wound up in Korea. When I got back, my oldest brother died at 34 years old. He really started our company. He died of colon cancer. In his drawer was about 10 checks on cash, because in those days, there wasn't much to work with, and he made sure everybody else had their check. So through the grace of God, our family has prospered and done well. My kids are now taking over along my nephew. But maybe my most important part of my life is my wife of 52 years, Cindy, and 8 children and 42 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, maybe one more in another hour or two. So that's what maybe I'd get an award for, the most grandchildren here today. But college has always been my passion. Earl Bruce, Jim Tressel, and one of the greatest friends in the whole world, John Cooper. When they asked me to help, I was like, man, just tell me when. When I first met Woody Hayes and Archie Griffin, I thought, wow, that was like a dream come true. And then I get to work with Robert Smith, Eddie George somewhat. I used to bring Eddie some gummy bears, and hired Teddy Ginn and Troy Smith and all these Glenville kids. And Ted's father, he's just, as we all know, he's a builder of men. And so I loved being on the sidelines with Coach Cooper. He was nice enough he knew I had a bad back, so he let me on the sidelines, and continued somewhat with Jim Tressel. So I am very blessed, and you want to give back whenever you can. So I have some great professional sports people that I've met in my lifetime. Sam Ratigliano, dear friend, the great Jim Brown, Doug Deacon, Brian Brennan, Bernie Kosar, right here today. I hope you wouldn't mind it, Bernie, but I'd like to say a prayer for Bernie because he's gone through some health issues, but he's a fighter, and I know he'll come through. Bernie's the best. Tom Cousineau. After my grandson died, he was 3 years old. Our family started a charity nonprofit, Cornerstone of Hope, and we help grieving families. So when Stump gave that talk, it hit my heart pretty good. I know that only through our Lord can we get through these things today, and I know that Stump and so many others will today because Jesus has got us in his hands. And the Cleveland Browns have been so good to our family. They've backed Cornerstone of Hope. I want to thank them personally for everything they've done for us. And I just want to tell these people I don't belong on the same stage with, really. These are unbelievable people. Chuck Kyle I've known pretty well, and he's one of the very best. I knew Coach Fowl somewhat. John Cooper speaks for himself, but all the other coaches and great players here. Thank you for just letting me be on the same stage with you.
All right, before we bring up our next Hall of Fame inductee, we have a very special and important video for you to watch called Breaking Barriers. Check it out.
In 1946, 6 courageous men changed professional football. Paul Brown signed Marion Motley and Bill Willis to the Cleveland Browns, breaking a 13-year ban of Negroes in the NFL. While on the West Coast, UCLA athletes Woody Strode and Kenny Washington were signed by Dan Reeves to the LA Rams. These signings would later be historically viewed as monumental stepping stones on the path of America's continuing journey to racial equality. 1 year later, Branch Rickey signed a UCLA football teammate of Strode and Washington to Major League Baseball. His name is Jackie Robinson. Yes, that Jackie Robinson. In the painting Breaking Barriers, artist Ray Simon reveals this captivating moment. The first 4 African-American professional football players reintegrating professional football. From 1933 to 1946, Negroes were banned from playing in the NFL. In 1946, the Cleveland Browns head coach Paul Brown shattered the color barrier by his heroic and courageous actions, hiring 2 black players, Marion Motley and Bill Willis, and ending a 13-year ban. Paul Brown's primary motive was to hire the most qualified players for his namesake team. He was quoted as saying, "I didn't care about a man's color or his ancestry. I just wanted to win football games with the best people possible." He had to overcome nearly insurmountable challenges, but ultimately created opportunities for future black athletes in the National Football League. In 1945, the Cleveland Rams, owned by Dan Reeves, won the National Football Championship. In 1946, he moved the team to Los Angeles, California, and requested the use of LA Memorial Coliseum. On January 15, 1946, Harley Harding, an African-American sports writer for the Los Angeles Tribune, gave an impassioned speech to the LA County Commissioners, which inspired the commissioners to break the 13-year ban and insist that the taxpayer-funded LA Coliseum host teams that include members of all races. This action ended the exclusion of black athletes and required the newly arrived LA Rams owner Dan Reeves to integrate his team. This resulted in Reeves hiring Kenny Washington and Woody Strode. In the painting, sports writer Harley Harding is featured on the scoreboard of the Los Angeles Coliseum. In the foreground left to right of the painting are the fearsome four: Woody Strode, Bill Willis, Marion Motley, and Kenny Washington. Their outstanding athletic ability gave them the opportunity to become the first African-American professional football players to break the color barrier. On the far left and right are number 39 Woody Strode and number 13 Kenny Washington. Both played for the Los Angeles Rams. If you're wondering why Woody Strode's helmet is void of the Rams insignia, it is because the insignia wasn't designed until 1948 by former football player Clarence Fred Garricke. The journey of equality is never ending, and the path is never straight. In 1947, owner Dan Reeves had to release Woody Strode. Woody was married to Lukia Luana Kaleloa, a Hawaiian princess known only as Luana. In 1946, interracial marriage was illegal in the United States. It was criminalized by the state of California and carried a $10,000 fine or a 10-year prison sentence. Reeves had little choice but to let Woody go. Woody went to Canada with his wife, where he continued his football career with the Calgary Stampeders. In the middle of the painting, Cleveland Municipal Stadium subtly blends into the Los Angeles Coliseum. Where the stadiums join together, these four extraordinary men emerge from the tunnel, joining hands and illuminating a new era in professional football. Ghosted in the sky on the right side of the painting is the image of head coach Paul Brown looking proudly down onto the field, his legacy in motion. To the left, over the Los Angeles Coliseum, Rams owner Dan Reeves looks with anticipation on a great future and the beginning of a new era for the Los Angeles Rams. The painting is rendered in black and white from the bottom up. Featured in color are the fearsome four, gradually blending into full color. These four courageous men enter the field from the tunnel, representing a new day in professional football history, affecting generations for years to come. A full-color sky with the modern NFL seal ghosted in the clouds blends into the culturally diverse hands. There the ball is handed off, thus continuing the journey, the creation of the modern-day National Football League. It is well known that Branch Rickey and Jackie Robinson paved the way for the acceptance of African Americans in Major League Baseball. But it is lesser known that the real breakthrough in professional sports came a year earlier, when coach Paul Brown signed Bill Willis and Marion Motley to the Cleveland Browns. Inclusiveness and equality are the hinges on the gate of opportunity. And the stories and names of Woody Strode, Bill Willis, Kenny Washington, Marion Motley, Coach Paul Brown, and Dan Reeves are as important a part of black history as they are of American history. Coach Paul Brown's courageous decision paved the way.
It's a great video, and some of you might be saying that painting looks familiar. Well, you might have passed it in the hallway outside. If you saw it, the detail on it and everything is amazing. The video talked about every part of that painting. If you did not see it on your way out, by all means, stop by and check it out as you leave this evening. All right, let's move on to our next enshrinee. Jack Trice played tackle for East Tech High School in Cleveland, Ohio, and they were a football powerhouse. Trice's speed, strength, and intellect helped to cement his legacy as an all-time great. Iowa State College, now Iowa State University, offered East Tech's Sam Williman the Cyclones' head coaching position. Trice and 5 other players followed their high school coach to Iowa. In 1923, in only his second varsity game, the promising sophomore attempted a rolling block and was trampled by several Minnesota players. 2 days later, he died from injuries sustained from that fateful play. In 1997, 74 years after his death, Iowa State renamed their football field Jack Trice Stadium. Today, we induct Jack Trice into the National High School Football Hall of Fame as a member of the 2024 class, and here representing him today is his cousin, George Trice.
So I had a speech written, but now seeing all these great men up here and seeing that video, I had to change it a little bit. In 2022, in November, marked the 99th year of Jack's death. Breaking Barriers was a 20-foot by 20-foot concrete block with a football player resembling Jack running through it with a crack through the top. So seeing this Breaking Barriers and talking about the NFL and that barrier that was broken, it brings me to Jack. There are 144 schools, football schools in the country. Iowa State has the only stadium named after a black person, and that's Jack Trice Stadium. I'm here representing the family because Jack can't be here. And my whole purpose of being here with these great people is to continue on a journey. Each of these men that I've talked to today have done something or are doing something to further education, safety of the sport. Jack went to school to study animal husbandry. His life was cut short. His plan was to go down and take what he learned at Iowa State and teach ex-slaves how to sharecrop and make money doing what they had done. My goal, and what I took from his final words in his final letter, was I will do more than my part. I started the Trice Legacy Foundation to do more than my part, to help people take something that was before them and make it better, doing better one step at a time, which all of these great men have done. So on behalf of the Trice family, I thank Lamont and this group up here for putting Jack on a national stage. This is an honor, and I appreciate it, and thank you.
Robert Smith was a star running back for Euclid High School. As a junior, 1988, he rushed for 1,564 yards on 177 carries. I'll do the math for you, 8.8 yards a carry. He also averaged 31 yards on 10 punt returns that year. In his senior season, 1989, he gained 2,042 yards on 203 carries and scored 31 touchdowns. Smith was the first player to win Ohio's Mr. Football Award twice, in '88 and '89. In 1989, he was awarded the Bobby Dodd National Back of the Year by the Touchdown Club of Atlanta and was named Mr. Football USA. During his Panthers career, he rushed for a total of 5,038 yards on 548 carries with 67 touchdowns. Smith was a standout at Ohio State and played 8 seasons in the NFL with the Vikings. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee, Robert Smith.
All right, we'll see how this goes with the voice. Having some issues with the vocal cords, might sound a little bit scratchy, but bear with me on that. First of all, I want to thank the High School Hall of Fame for selecting me. It's a real honor. And, you know, as been said before, seeing some of the people that are here today, and I know that it's been said specifically about this person before, I got to say it again, man, Eric Dickerson. You know, growing up in Euclid, you know, I wasn't a Browns fan. I'm not going to get into that. It was my brother's fault. But watching running backs growing up, you know, guys like Franco and Tony Dorsett, and then when I first saw Eric Dickerson, I was like, man, craziness. But anyway, you know, what the High School Hall of Fame represents, I think it's just so important because, you know, high school football in particular, I think it represents community in a way that, you know, you don't necessarily, and you're certainly not going to see in the future with college football. You know, I think fans of those sports are a type of community, but in the NFL, obviously the players are selected. But in high school football, we all come together, and we grew up in similar circumstances. And I know it's been talked about before, but, you know, football is about family. And, you know, we don't choose the family that we grow up with. I know a lot of people have talked about their stories. And, you know, both of my parents had some demons that they dealt with, but because of love in the community and the extended family of schools, of coaches, of teachers, I'm so grateful tonight. Coach Tom Bank, who was my high school football coach, is here. Coach Paul Serra, who was my geometry teacher, also the baseball coach at Euclid, that became my guardian for a year as my mother was dealing with some demons and my father wasn't around. I'm just so grateful that you're both here tonight. Had an opportunity to play for Coach Cooper, Bobby DiGeronimo, extended family, got to play against Coach Kyle. It's just amazing what community can do for individuals, what we can achieve, you know, not just as athletes, but as people. And I told you this the other night, Coach Kyle, you know, my favorite line about coaching is that, you know, a good coach makes you a better player, but a great coach makes you a better person. And that's what this thing's really all about. And I'm just so grateful to be recognized and to be honored among so many other people. And, you know, when I see awards like this, I just, you know, it's great, but it's not just a symbol of what we've done, but how we can challenge ourselves moving forward. You know, there's one last saying. You know, the saying is that, you know, the meaning of life is to find your gift, but the purpose of life is to give that gift away. It's about carrying on community, extending that family. What a beautiful gift. I mean, as athletes, we're put on a pedestal. We know this, right? What are we going to do with it? What are you going to do with that time when you're up there to talk, when you're being seen? I want to be a reflection of what was given to me so freely by coaches like Tom Bank, by coaches like Paul Serra, by coaches like John Cooper, by people like Bobby DiGeronimo and the lessons that I learned from playing against people like Chuck Kyle. So every day that I live my life, the most important coaching I do is with the 14-year-old and the 12-year-old that are my son and my daughter. And I'm a reflection of all of what you were to me, the lessons that you taught me. And I'm excited about the opportunity to teach them, but every opportunity that I get to speak about what this game really means, about what family and community really means, I'm truly honored and inspired. And once again, thank you for the opportunity to come up here, and congratulations to every one of you. So well deserved. Thank you.
During his storied career at Flint Northwestern High School, Andre Rison played 8 different positions: wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end, safety, cornerback, punter, and kicker. He was a 3-time All-State selection and was named to Street & Smith's 10-year All-Anniversary team as a defensive back. Rison was the 1984 ESPN National High School Football Player of the Year, also known as Mr. Football USA. He was a star receiver at Michigan State and played 12 seasons in the NFL. He holds an NFL record for scoring a touchdown for 7 different teams. Rison is also on the short list of players to win a championship in the United States and Canada, helping secure victories for the Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl 31 and the Toronto Argonauts in the 2004 Grey Cup. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 honoree and inductee, Andre Rison.
Y'all ready to go home and eat? Get a cold drink, all that good stuff. That's my son over there, Da Vinci. I don't know where to start because these guys have gave some great testimonies. The stories are unbelievable. I didn't come with a speech. They know how I am. I'm usually the littlest guy in the locker room with the loudest mouth. So I'm going to do that again tonight. But it's going to be quick. First of all, thank you to the whole committee. Thank you, big fella. This jacket is way too big. But I'll take it. Right? I'll take it. When you go like 22, 23 down, what can I say? Ain't nothing else I can say, right? But putting it into Robert's perspective, I'm a high school coach currently in Detroit, Michigan, in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Thank you. So I know what he means when he says family and community. I'm still trying to stress that to my great wife and my 4 beautiful daughters that, hey, high school coaching is like, 2 minutes later you're getting a divorce. You're spending money on kids that's not yours. You're spending money on the community. But that's what it's about, right? And I believe these guys can attest to it. The coaches that we had throughout our high school careers meant the world to us. The lessons that I teach my kids now that I coach, the student athletes, they all come from high school coaches that I learned from. To deal with adversity, how to treat your mom with respect, how to treat your siblings with respect, trying to be a better person instead of a better player tomorrow. And I think those are the key things, especially with today's times, that we have to keep a thumbs on our children, all our children. It don't matter, black or white. I know we're dealing with a monkey in the room, an elephant in the room, which is racism across this country. I heard some guys speak on that. In a locker room, there's no racism. That's why the game of football is so beautiful, because it brings so many people together that had no clue of where they came from. And you got one task, and that's to win the game, and that's to create a bond as fast as you can. And that's said in the National Football League. The fastest team that creates a bond is probably going to be the one to win the Super Bowl. And that's a true essence. I've won the Super Bowl. I've won state championships. I've won Rose Bowls. The best thing I've won was being a part of my family's life, my beautiful wife, and my mom, my stepfather, who's, I don't even like saying stepfather. I didn't have a father in the home as well, so I know what these guys are talking about. You still can accomplish things. You still can be successful. You still can become that person that God wants you and intends for you to be. And so to sing to all the young students, athletes out there that's playing a sport, stay grounded. Stay humble. Treat people how you want to be treated. And in the long run, you'll have a chance to win. Winning is not guaranteed. You have to put in the trust in yourself to go do the work when no one is watching and no awards are handed out. And that's why I commend all these guys up here, because at some point in time in their life, they had to do that. And so I thank you guys for giving me the honor and just to grace the stage with you. And it doesn't stop with me, with Eric Dickerson and the Harvey Armstrongs. I was fortunate to be drafted first round to the Indianapolis Colts from a single-parent home. No dad. I went straight to Eric Dickerson. I went straight to Harvey Armstrong, and they taught me how to become a young adult on and off the field. And so I thank you, Eric Dickerson, for being my role model, my mentor. I thank you, Harvey Armstrong, a man of God, a man of faith, that's carrying me now down the right path. And it's funny, I hear people always tell me now in today's time, hey, Dre, you look good. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Dre, I'm proud of you. Okay, thank you. And then when I walk away, I was like, do I really look like that? What mistake did I make? Or what presence did I give off where I had to get the answer and the question and the solution of, hey, I'm proud of you. Well, I'll take that too, just like I'll take that coat, because everybody has to mature at some point and some time and someday. And God spoke to me a long time ago and said, hey, tapped me on the shoulder and said, football is not everything. Friends and family and your health, they mean the world. Thank you. Thank you again.
Eddie George only played one full season of varsity football, but he made the most of that year by rushing for 1,790 yards and 22 touchdowns as a senior at Fort Union Military Academy in Virginia. George transferred to the academy after 2 years at Abington High School in Philadelphia. George also put up big numbers for the Fort Union prep team the following year, but was ruled ineligible during the season because he was in the school's postgraduate program. The running back then went on to play collegiately at Ohio State, where he won the Heisman Trophy in 1995. He also claimed the Maxwell Award, the Walter Camp Player of the Year Award, and the Doak Walker Award, and was a unanimous All-American. He is a 2011 College Football Hall of Fame inductee. George never missed a game, making 128 consecutive starts for the Houston Oilers and Tennessee Titans, and rushed for 10,441 yards and a total of 78 touchdowns over a 9-year NFL career. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame, class of 2024 inductee, Eddie George.
All right, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well, good. It's such a blessing and honor to be here tonight. Glad to be seen and not viewed. You know, I give all the glory to God to be up on this stage. So many people that I would love to thank, plethora of coaches and family members and faculty people. I want to congratulate our inductees tonight. Some guys that I grew up watching, admiring, I've been inspired by, some guys I played against and with, and guys that I've, you know, watched growing up, watched as they did their thing in college and so forth, in high school. So this stage is just blessed with some great players, great people. Heard so many great stories. You know, I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and, you know, I really have to give a lot of credit to my mother and my father, who are no longer here. My mother was the engine. My father was the spark. My father introduced me to the game of football. I mean, honestly, somebody asked me in an interview tonight, you know, when did you start playing football? When did you start liking football? I was like, damn, ever since I was born, I came out the womb playing football. I mean, it was everything I dreamt about. You know, every picture you see me with as a kid, I have a football in my hand. And I would go everywhere with it. I would try to strike up games with kids in the backyard or streets of Philly. And I was always enamored with running backs, you know, whether it was Earl Campbell or Archie Griffin or Eric Dickerson, Billy Sims. I mean, I was enamored with that. My father loved great running backs. His hero was Jim Brown. I wanted my father to talk about me the same way he talked about Jim Brown. But growing up in Philadelphia, I wasn't the best student, okay? As a sophomore at Abington High School, I had a 1.3 GPA, and I wasn't going anywhere fast. So my mother sacrificed, worked various jobs to get me out of Philadelphia and put me in a school in Virginia between Charlottesville and Richmond. In the middle was Fork Union Military Academy. And it was an eye-opening experience. I went from having freedom to doing whatever I wanted to do, not doing my homework, to having all of my time scheduled in a regimen. And none of this would be possible. I wouldn't be on this stage if it wasn't for my mother's sacrifice. She didn't stop paying for my tuition until my second year in the NFL. She continued to pay for that. And I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for Coach Mickey Sullivan, who was my head coach at Fork Union, or Coach Billingsley, or Coach Schumann. And a young man right here who came up tonight, Dan Osmond. Dan didn't play sports. He was my platoon sergeant at Fork Union Military Academy. And I hated him. I hated him. When I got there, you know, I wouldn't be on time for reveille, or I wouldn't do the chores. So he made me, by myself, wax a hallway about from here to the end of that pole, by myself, wax it and shine it for a week straight. Walk tours. He would come in my room and terrorize me. He said, okay, your hospital corner is not the 45-degree angle. Rip off the bed, do it all over again. So he terrorized me. I wound up hating Danny Osmond. Well, Danny ended up going to Ohio State as an athletic trainer. So like you said, I was there my senior year, and I went back the postgraduate year. So Danny's at Ohio State as an athletic trainer, and he's keeping up with my season as a postgraduate. And at that particular time, I wasn't highly recruited. I was getting recruited by Louisville, you know, Virginia, a few other schools, but nobody up north, nobody like Penn State or Ohio State or that team up, nobody like that. So one day, I get a note on my desk, because back then we didn't have cell phones. We had a pay phone and a credit card. You know, remember the pay phones? You had to call somebody and collect calls and all that. I had to do that. So it said, Danny Osmond wants to talk to you. So I said, okay. I get a credit card or the calling card, call up Danny. I say, hey, Danny, what's going on? He says, hey, man, I'm just checking on you. I'm just keeping up with your season. I'm just like, hey, you're doing a great job, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I hated you. What do you want? He says, man, what do you think about coming to Ohio State? I was like, Like, yeah, that would be great, but man, they got Robert Smith, Raymond Harris, Butler Benote, Jeff Cothran, a slew of running backs. But I was listening, all I wanted was an opportunity. He says, well, let me see what I can do and help us move along the situation. I'm thinking, you are an athletic trainer, you tape ankles. Who is going to listen to you? I'm like, sure, get back with me. I'll wait to hear this one out. So about 3 or 4 days later, I get another message, and I'm like, okay, Danny's calling me again. And then he says to me, oh man, Eddie, I finally got in touch with Bill Connolly, the recruiting coordinator at Ohio State. He finally let me in his office, and he wants to see your tape. So I only played in 6 games that year. So I said, okay, I got a tape together, sent off the tape. And another 2 weeks goes by, I get a message from Danny. He says, oh my God, dude, they absolutely love you, but they want to see another tape. I said, okay, I get another VHS tape, pack it together, send it off to Ohio State. Another 4 weeks go by, and I hear from Danny. He says, oh my God, man, they are just enamored with you, your size, your speed, everything about you. They want to see another tape. I'm like, I don't have any more. But I say all that to say, if it wasn't for this man, his persistence, his diligence, for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself at that particular time, I wouldn't be on the stage. I wouldn't have accomplished the things I have at Ohio State, and Coach Cooper gave me that opportunity just to compete at Ohio State for a running back position, to compete in the same room with a Robert Smith, showing me how to work, showing what it is to be a professional on the collegiate level. So iron truly sharpens iron. It's been an amazing ride for me. And again, as a head coach now on the other side of this, I truly understand now what it means that coaching is a calling. It truly is. To impact the lives of young men on a day-to-day basis, not the player, but the person, is truly, truly inspirational. And I understand it now. I truly understand what it means to pour into young men and to see that light bulb go off and to challenge them on every level, the spiritual level, the social level, the physical level, and the mental level, and to push their buttons, because that's what my coaches did for me, and that's why I'm up here. And as a head coach, I truly take that and I value that wholeheartedly. Again, thank you for this amazing evening. Thank you for making this weekend really special. I pray that this is bigger and better next year. More people will be here. This will become something that catches fire. I got to give credit and all the love to my lovely wife, Tamara, who came up here with me. I love you. We're going on our 20th year of marriage, June 20th. So I got the dates right, which is also Father's Day, but I still got to get, a gift for you, so I'll figure that out. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. God bless you, and thank you. Take care. Thanks.
Bob Golick played guard and linebacker at St. Joseph's High School in Cleveland, Ohio, earning all-state honors at both positions. He was also an accomplished wrestler, winning the heavyweight state title in 1975. Golick was awarded a football scholarship to the University of Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish won a national championship in 1977. Golick was a 2-time All-American in both football and wrestling. He was drafted by the New England Patriots in 1979, playing 14 seasons with the Patriots, Browns, and Raiders. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Bob Golick.
It is so weird sitting here and wondering if your name is going to get called next. A couple times I heard Robert, and I went, no, I'm Bob. So anyway, I want to thank everybody associated with the hall, first off, for including us. This is one of the most amazing things. It's even better than when I got included into the Hall of the Very Good, which is just south of the Football Hall of Fame. There should be one. Anyway, I want to thank you guys. This is amazing. And the great thing about this, too, is getting to meet all the guys and see all the guys in their fine red jackets. Pretty much looks good on everybody. We don't have any gingers here, so. But it is, but the great thing about this is you get to hear from a lot of the guys about where they came from, how they were brought up, their families, their friends. You know, we hear so much about them with college and pros and all the different things that happen to them, but this is a great opportunity to find out where they are, where they're from, and I think that's very cool. Very good to see, very good to hear. And I want to say hello. My wife and my son are here in the third row. I tried to get you first row. Dexter took them. Anyway, then we have another daughter who is in California, Tawny, and I have another daughter here in Mentor, Ohio, who is about to have my second grandchild. And isn't it weird when you have your first grandchild and you'd spent your whole life telling them, don't have sex? And then you go over the house and there's a little baby there and you're like, oh my God. So you just try to ignore it. Is it just me? It must be just me. Over at St. Joe's, we had some great coaches. Bill Gutbrod, they called him Blood and Guts. Gutbrod, he was just an amazing guy, and just, you know, that passion that he had for the game. I remember we were losing to Euclid one time at halftime, and we were all kind of hanging our heads. And after all the coaches yelled at us, Bill called us all in, and he says, listen, men, we can do this. You have to put yourself in the right frame of mind. And we're all looking at him, and he goes, just imagine you're sitting at home watching TV with your family. All of a sudden, the front door breaks open, and masked men come in, and they grab your mom, and they slam her against the wall, and we're like, 3 guys left. They Mom. But that was cool. That showed the passion. It really happened. That really happened. But that was amazing. Oh, I also forgot to mention Tommy Kuzno. Tom and I wrestled a couple times in high school. We're not done. Oh, my. Our junior year, he won. Senior year, I think I won with the referee's decision or something. And then our senior year, we actually had to wrestle Harold Smith from Camp McKinley. Beat him. 3 years later, I wrestled him when I was at Notre Dame. He was at Kentucky, and he beat the crap out of me. So we need a rubber match now too, but I don't think either of us are moving very well. But, you know, this was, as I said about the other guys, my parents were the ones that just absolutely were the motivators. My dad played in the Canadian Football League for 7 years. He played first in the Marine Corps at Camp Lejeune, and no, we didn't get any of that money. I don't know why. My brother Mike was supposed to do it. But he played there, went to Indiana University for a year, and him and Tom Kuzno's dad were at Indiana together. And evidently, as the story goes, my dad said that they heard that there was a, what do they call them, panty raids or something? And so all the guys ran over to the girls' dorm, and the security people tried to keep them out, and evidently some guy hit my dad with a flashlight, and my dad picked him up and threw him off the porch, and evidently Tom's dad didn't throw anybody off the porch, so he got let go, and but they had a good time. But, you know, he was the one that when he first started playing, and I spent some time with him, he always told me, he goes, Bobby, he goes, don't play this game unless you love it. Because you can't do the commitment, the time, and everything it takes to be good at what you do if you don't love what you're doing. And I, you know, at the time, I'm, 12 years old, going, okay, Dad. You know, you didn't know, but over the years, you realize that you have to have a passion for it. But long story short, towards the end of my career, I came to the conclusion that, and I kept telling people, yeah, my dad said, play because you love it, play because you love it. Playing because you love it is okay, but playing because there's people who love you that showed you how to do it and supported you and did all that. I don't know if I would have kept going if my dad showed up at every practice, every game, and especially when I was playing for the Browns. God. But he kept trying to get me to play run a 40-yard dash. We got to get your time. And I said, Dad, I'm a nose tackle. If I got to run 40 yards, we're screwed. But I just remember coming back from a high school game, and I was sitting in the back seat. Mom and Dad were in the front seat, and I was just kind of sitting back there. I think it was my sophomore year, my first varsity game. And I was just sitting back there kind of moaning a little bit, a little drama. And my mom looks back and she goes, Bobby, do you want some aspirin? And I said, no, Mom, let me enjoy this for a while. And she turned and she whacked my dad and going, you did this to him. So parents are definitely involved. So yeah, it was amazing. They're both gone now, but the memories are there, and now we share them with the new families. So anyway, I wanted to thank all the guys and getting a chance to see them and say hi, and thank you very much for coming here, and thank you for the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Reno Suckach is a native of Steubenville, Ohio. He graduated from Steubenville Catholic Central in 1967, playing football there for 3 seasons. Reno attended Akron University, graduating in 1971. He immediately began his coaching career, taking a position at United Local High School. In 1977, he accepted an assistant coaching job at Steubenville High School and was promoted to head coach in 1983. Reno has taken the Big Red to the playoffs 35 times, going undefeated 4 seasons and winning state titles in 1984, 2005, 2006, and 2017. He has the most career wins in Ohio high school football history with a record of 424 and 82. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee Reno Suckach.
Wow. My entire life has been a miracle, and from my parents to my wife to my kids to my job. And another miracle would be figuring out what the hell I'm doing here with these guys. But all these guys up here played football, and a lot of you guys out in this audience played football. And I want you just to think back to 1983 or 1984 and picture yourself going one-on-one board drill with Dexter Manley. Mr. Robinson, thank you. Committee, thank you. I have to read off these notes because my 54-year journey as a football coach, I think today I want to spend the entire day, my 7 minutes, thanking the people that are responsible for me being here. Tom McDaniels, you know how I feel about you. I appreciate you. I want to congratulate all the honorees, especially Mike Young. We played against each other. We played against each other. We coached against each other. We've been on the board at OVAC for the last 35 years. Chuck Cowell, another high school coach. Congratulations to Chuck. He's one of the only coaches I know that taught advanced English for 35 years while he coached. That's a great feat that you did. And if you ever need any help with English, ask me. A special thank you to my friends who came here today. I know that you're fidgety and getting ready to get out of here, but I really appreciate you coming. I love you guys. My parents, when you think back on your childhood and you think about your mother and father and you get a smile on your face, you know you were raised by good people. And I smile about them often and even more today after hearing some of the way people were brought up and what they had to do. But my parents were tough love, and the fundamentals of parenting they were great at. Please and thank you, yes and no, God-fearing. They were always there for us. And my siblings and I had a great childhood, and we appreciate them even more now. Thank you to my brother Ray, my brother Rich, my sister Marianne and their families. They have beautiful families. I love you. Ray, you were always there for me. And when we stunk, you let me know we stunk. And when we played pretty good, you let me know we could always do better. I thank you for that. I want to thank my 1962 St. Anthony Hawks teammates and the guys and girls that graduated with us in '63 from St. Anthony's. I love you guys. My teammates from the '66 Crusaders and the '67 classmates, thank you. You guys know the real me. They don't. You know the real me. And what a beautiful 60 years we've had together. I love all of you. Monsignor Richter, Father Joe, Father Stabani, all the teachers and coaches we had at St. Anthony's and Catholic Central. Our St. Anthony, we only have one coach that's living right now that we had in St. Anthony's and in high school. Coach Taglianes and the Pangos, Milkos, Jim Orlando, Art DeLeonardis, Baldy Parisi, Coach Dixie, Coach Pont, Coach Straight, Coach Maley, Coach Neese. They're all in heaven looking over us right now. And they were just great people, and we couldn't ask to be coached by better guys than them. Sam Fornsaglio, he gave me my first job as a football coach at United Local. Bill Bourne brought me to Big Red. John Polshaw and Bob McCoskey, they trained me. And I learned early in life that if you're going to do your job right and you're going to be a leader, your family's going to suffer a little bit. And My family was always behind me. I don't think they suffered. My daughter told me as long as I had the paycheck there on Friday, I didn't have to be there. I want to thank our superintendent, our administration, and our Board of Education for sticking with me especially during the tough times. But we beat the internet. The truth always works. The truth always wins. And I want to thank Mr. Agresta and Mrs. Berzies, Mr. Timmons, and Mr. Davis for their support. Dr. Keenan, the superintendent, hired me. God rest his soul, rest in peace. He gave me this job. He gave it to me. Other people probably should have got it, but he gave it to me, and I appreciate him. Mr. Barron, Mr. Ronaldo, Dr. Joyce, and Mr. Hendricks. I had a board member trying to fire me because I wouldn't move his son up from the junior high, and so he did his best to fire me, and the superintendent gave me a 5-year contract, so I appreciate that. Our boosters and mothers, two of the best people. I mean, they treat our players first class. Guys that help us out. Joe DeAlbert, I got this job on his birthday, April the 8th, 1983, and he's been behind me ever since, and I really appreciate that. And get to our coaches from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything you did. In 42 years, it's amazing. In 42 years, I only had 2 offensive coordinators and 3 defensive coordinators. Only had 3 strength coaches, and I had 7 coaches that were with me for over 25 years and 7 coaches with me for over 20 years. Our equipment guys, trainers, I mean, I appreciate you. In 42 years, we only had 3 coaches leave our staff, 2 because they moved away, and 1 became a baseball coach at another school. And I appreciate it. My appreciation is never ending. I owe you guys everything. And our players, I really mean this. Our success was built around our players and our parents. And the reason why I say that is our parents raised their kids to be we people. Our players were we people. The town of Steubenville is we people. We won with we people. We had a few I's and me's on our team, but the we's always dominated. And I feel proud about that because it's a we thing. Football is a we, not a me thing. And you have to have those we's. They have to outnumber the I's and the me's, and that's tough, especially in today when everybody wants it so quick and so fast. Steubenville's made up of we people. There are 30 schools in the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference that are on the Ohio side, and only 2, Steubenville Big Red and Steubenville Central, won state championships. It's because we have a we culture in Steubenville, and I'm proud of that, and I think that's a key to all sports is we. It's a key to family, we. Every team has their stars. You know, you look at the Colts, Dickerson. Every team had their stars at every level, pro, college, high school. Every team that you play has their stars, but the team is made up of average players that bust their ass, that win their battles, and you win with those guys. There's more average players on a team than great players on a team, and that's who you win with at the high school level, in my opinion. Our average players did their job. They won their battles, but our great players did their job. They were at their best when their best was needed, and that's important. It's easy to be a great player. It's hard to be a great player when you're needed. I want to say, I won't say it. We just had a great bunch of high school football players, and I really appreciate them, and I love the effort they gave. I want to thank my wife, Patty McGinnis. Your beautiful looks attracted me, but I fell in love with your inner beauty, and I love you. Thank you. Her brother Danny, her sisters Peggy, Nancy, and Jane, your families, we appreciate your support. Michelle, Gina, JoJo, our 3 kids, we're so proud of you and the way you raised your families. You've been a blessing from heaven. Your spouses are special and your kids are beautiful. God love you always. My son and my two son-in-laws coach with me, so you know Sunday at our house, when we're having them spaghetti and meatballs every Sunday, you know it's a family affair, and we all live within 8 houses of each other. So, best thing about grandkids, they come, they eat, and they leave. But I appreciate them, and they know I love them. One more person I'd like to thank is he's sitting out there. It's my Uncle Rich. I don't know where he's at. I'd like for him to stand up. He's the most important person in our family. He's the first, to think about this, he's the first Suckwatch on my father's side to graduate high school in 1959. The first. That's only 60-some years ago. He's the first Suckwatch male to graduate high school, and he's in the High School Hall of Fame. He's the first Suckwatch to graduate college at Memphis State University, and he's in their Hall of Fame. But the best thing he ever did, he became a teacher. Now there are 18 of us that teach in our family, and 2 are at Kent State University studying to be teachers. So in the last 65 years, our education has just gone out the it's unbelievable. I mean, of all the people I hang around with, to know that our family didn't have anyone graduate till 1959, and now we have 20 kids, 20 of us teaching. I'm really proud of that, and I thank him. Last, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. I know how miserable some of you are sitting out there, but misery loves company, so I want to end with this last 30 seconds. Ohio is so important to Ohio high school football. I want you to think about the guys I'm going to say, and every one of them graduated from Ohio high school, okay? Don Shula, Painesville Harvey, Woody Hayes, Newcomerstown, Bo Schembecker, Barberton, Jim Tressel, Berea, Urban Meyer, Ashtabula St. John's, John Heisman, Cleveland, Ohio, Era Parsegan, Akron South, Lou Holtz, East Liverpool. Lou Holtz is the only one a little bit south. All these guys from Northwest, Northeast Ohio. Chuck Knoll, Cleveland Benedictine, Mike Vrabel, Walsh Jesuit, Les Miles, Elyria, Don James, Maslin, Larry Karras, Diamond, Ohio, Josh McDaniels, Canton McKinley, Bo Pelini, Bob Stoops, Mark Stoops, Youngstown, all from Mooney High School. And then we have 2 national champions in here, Tom McDaniels at Canton McKinley and Chuck Cow from St. Ignatius. I think that's a great who's who in high school football. And then I'll end with Coach Antonio Hall. At 3:30, he said for us to line up, that we're all very coachable. He's the head coach at Camp McKinley. He wanted to get this done quick, so he got 29 guys lined up in 35 minutes. That's a guy a minute. Thank you. Love you guys. Thanks you, football.
Canadian-born Nate Burleson settled with his family in Seattle, Washington. There he transferred to Odeya High School after attending Lindbergh High School his freshman year. Burleson emerged as a football and track and field star, winning the 1999 Washington State. He accepted a scholarship to the University of Nevada and led the NCAA his senior year in receiving yards and receptions per game. This earned him first-team All-American honors by the American Football Coaches Association. A 2003 draft pick by the Vikings, Burleson played 11 seasons in the NFL for the Vikes, Seahawks, and the Detroit Lions. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee Nate Burleson.
Thank you all. I'll try to be quick. I know you guys are getting restless. I'm blessed and highly favored, like many of us up here. So these gifts are not mine. They are from the Most High. So thank God. I want to thank the association and the committee for selecting me. This is an honor. Lamont, Russell, everybody else who was involved, I appreciate it. I want to thank my high school, of course. They gave me an opportunity, just this young, skinny kid that wanted to play every sport. O'Day High School in Seattle. My head coach, Monty Kohler, who allowed me to play offense, defense, special teams, really figure out what I was good at on the football field. My brothers. I grew up in a household with 4 boys, drove my mom and dad crazy. And having 4 brothers in the house is like having a built-in scout team. So we beat each other up and made each other better. My mom and dad, I can't remember a time where I looked up in the stands and they weren't there. And they had 4 boys playing every single sport. And just having them there, that presence, making eye contact with them, it helped shape me, not just as a young boy, but also as a parent right now. Speaking of that, my family, my 3 kids, Nate the second, Nehemiah, my daughter Mia, and my wife Atoya, my beautiful wife Atoya. I love you. Yeah, give it up for her for sure. I met her my freshman year. She was a senior in college, running track, kicking ass. She was fine as hell. And she had her own money. I wasn't on the football field. I was broke. I didn't even have a bank account or a license. So when people ask, did your wife marry you because of the money? I said, no, I trapped her early. All jokes aside, when I met you, I knew that I had won at life. So thank you for being the best teammate there is. So when I left the game after 11 years, I felt unfulfilled. I didn't have a championship to hold on to. I didn't have a Hall of Fame career. I played 11 years, I guess respected by my peers, but I went through high school, didn't win a championship. College, didn't play in a bowl game. NFL, didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So I didn't get the hardware like some of these legends here. And when I left the game, I felt that void. And I was chasing things, trying to figure out who I was. I went into TV and I hosted a few different shows in New York, and I started to find success in that space. And I started to win trophies, not for my athletic ability, but for my intelligence. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying that because I left the game thinking that I missed out on something. And God tapped me on my shoulder and reminded me that your efforts are being seen. So, as I think about my career, I was always unselfish. It was we over me. It was all about the team. I'll take the stage when you give it to me, but I'll be the best compliment that you ever had. I made my career off being a good number 2. And then when I left the game, I wanted to join shows and make shows better. I didn't want the main stage. I didn't want my own show. I say all that to say this. Something very special, magical, divine intervention. It happens when you are selfless and you join teams, not for self-serving reasons, but in order to step aside and let other people shine. Every time that I have entered a space and did it with my ego in my back pocket, God has rewarded me. So this is not a reward for me. This is a reflection of every single team that I've been a part of, because without them, I wouldn't be here. Thank y'all.
In almost 30 years as a head coach at Greensburg Central Catholic and Jeanette, Joe Musey had a record of 183, 49, and 4. He had success in his first job at Central Catholic, but then made a gigantic impact in Jayhawk country, Jeanette High School. Under his leadership, Jeanette won 3 WPIAL championships in 1971, 81, and 83. and finished as runner-up 2 other times. The Jayhawks were undefeated 3 times. His teams were always juggernauts, especially on defense. During his 18 years at Jeanette, the Jayhawks allowed only 8.8 points per game. During his time at Jeanette, he also was the school's athletic director. Musey is a graduate of Derry High School and went on to St. Vincent, where he is a member of the school's Sports Hall of Fame. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee Joe Musey, represented today by Christopher Musey.
Thank you. It's really wonderful to be here with everybody tonight, and it's a great opportunity to listen to all these people give their wonderful speeches. And I was sitting there and listening intently to the words of Robert Smith, Andre Rison, Eddie George, and Bob Golick, and you think about what high school football means to these guys, as well as to all future high school football sports players. You think about it and you say, well, when you compare high school with college and pro, maybe, it's debatable, but maybe high school could be the most important. And for that reason, I want to thank Lamont for everything he's done for this organization and all that he continues to do for this organization. For those of you who knew my father, you knew he was a man of great passion. He did everything with zest and passion for life. He loved his friends, and he loved his family. Tonight, we honor him, but we also honor everything he was about. I just want to recognize 2 of his sisters are still alive. My aunt's 100 years old. She couldn't be here today, but my other Aunt Mary's here. She's 93. She's sitting down here. If you could stand up, Aunt Mary. She's she's still cutting hair and doing the things she loves and carrying on my father's love for life as well. So I also appreciate everybody who made it here from Greensburg Central Catholic Country and Jeanette Country. If everybody could stand up and be recognized for where they are. And thank you for all making the trip down here. And if I could invite my brothers and sisters, I have 3 brothers and 1 sister that are really, really important to my father and my mother. So if they could come up on stage, I know they're going to be embarrassed, but my sister Michelle, my brother Joe, my brother Jeff, and my brother Doug couldn't be here. If we could ask Nico to come up here and in honor of his father. We want to accept this award on behalf of my dad. And allow me to just say that from the hills of Serra Majestica in the Abruzzi region of Italy to the streets of the coal mining patch town of Bradenville, Pennsylvania, to the halls and playing field of Derry Township High School, and to the halls and playing fields of the Arch Abbey of St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, to the coaching sidelines of Greensburg Central Catholic High School, and then to the coaching sidelines of the storied Jeanette High School, and now to the Hall of Fame Village in Canton, Ohio. Wow. Unfortunately, my dad couldn't be with us here today, but oh boy, he certainly would have been so proud. He also would have been so thankful, so appreciative, and so deeply humbled for this great honor and tribute. Along with thanking all his friends and family members, his former players and coaches, many of them who are here today, he also had a strong faith and would have wanted to thank God for blessing and enriching his life with so many meaningful and wonderful relationships. Many times, I remembered him saying, "It's not about the wins, Chris. It's about the small window in time where you have the unique opportunity to interact and make a difference in people's lives." Lastly, he would have wanted to thank someone who also is not here today, that being his devoted wife, Trudy, is the #1 assistant coach, who passed away only 19 days after him, with a total of 64 years of marriage together. They both were so special to us, and we know they are both with us today in spirit. My 3 brothers, Joe, Doug, and Jeff, and my sister Michelle, do humbly accept this award. And thanks again to the National High School Football Hall of Fame Committee for this great honor. God bless you all, and God bless you today, Pap. We love you. There it is, boy. Good job, Brad. I love you. I love you.
James Haslam II is a native of Detroit, Michigan. His mother and father moved the family to Florida with a stop in Pennsylvania. Jim was a star football player at St. Petersburg High School and had offers to play at several colleges. Recruited by legendary Volunteers coach Robert Nyland, Haslam settled on the University of Tennessee. He was a member of the 1951 National Championship team and a captain of the 1952 team. Haslam put down roots in Knoxville, becoming a successful businessman and civic leader. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame, class of 2024 inductee, James Haslam II, and we have a video for his acceptance. Let me know if you get that fixed and we can run it a little bit later. But congratulations once again to a National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee James Haslam II. We'll move along here. In 1967, Mike Young graduated from Wheeling Central Catholic High School, where he was a 3-sport athlete: football, basketball, and tennis. After graduating from West Liberty State, Young started a teaching career in special education. He taught at St. Clairsville High School, where he would eventually become the head football coach from 1988 through 1997. He returned to his alma mater as an assistant, finally moving into the head coaching position in 2005. He has qualified for the West Virginia State playoffs 17 of the last 19 seasons, winning 8 state titles. His career record as a head coach is 232-96. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Mike Young.
My rear end was starting to fall asleep over there. I thought, Jesus, first of all, I want to thank you people that have sat here for over 3 hours listening to everybody talk. You deserve a trophy. I think all of you should try to get one from Lamont before you leave tonight, okay? This is amazing. Get to meet these guys up here the last 2 days and at the press conference, Bernie Kosar. You guys are a unique, dynamic, inspiring group, every one of you. I have that much respect for you and what you've given to the game of football and to so many families and kids and everyone, especially in and around the state of Ohio, but thank you so very much for what you give. I love football and I respect all of you. I've always believed that it's faith, family, football, in that order, and teaching and coaching at a Catholic school, we definitely try to personify that and do that. I love the game of football. I've been involved in it. This will be the start of my 54th year. Somebody said, how many more years you're going to do it? I said, I know I'm doing it this year. And with that, I know too that each year I get started, I feel much younger, I feel more energized. I want to see these kids step up and show what they have. They're a year older. High school kids are at maturation time of their lives when 1 year makes a huge difference. And the growth and the development they make and you try to instill in them to make for next year is so vital important. But to see that development is a great reward. And see them go on and be successful. We coach, as my staff, some of those guys are here. I'd like for you guys to please stand up. Central Catholic High School football assistant coaches, please stand. Be recognized. I think they're back in the $25 seats because we didn't take up a second collection at church to get them the $75 seats, but they're a great group of guys, and they're very loyal and true, and I love them, and that's why we're successful, because we're together. That being said, I also have a boosters group. I know one of my favorite boosters is here, Suzanne Helms, who came with her son, who's a player of mine. She's here and a great Ohio State fan. Susan, please stand up. Where are you sitting? Thank you so very much. My brothers and sisters, I grew up in a family of 9. So if you take those 9 in our family and add a mother and dad, that's 11. We sat at a dinner table and ate at 5:30 every day. My mother dished up the food, and you ate what you got or you didn't eat. And I learned to work with those 11 people. And I say that because there were 11 of us and we had 1 bathroom. You better get along. You better be patient. You better wait your turn. And that was huge in growing up and being caring toward each other, and that's what football is all about. So with that in mind, I want my brothers and sisters, Jacqueline, Jennifer, Janet, Molly, please stand. Matt, Mark, and when you have family in and around you, you don't always have to like each other. But you better love each other and you better respect each other. And that's the same philosophy I take on the football field with the players. Everyone has talked tonight, and there's no doubt about it, the high school football coach can be a great, great impact on their players. And the assistant coaches need to follow that same attitude in coaching with passion. Reno, congratulations on a great career. You've taught me so much over the last few years, especially Reno Sakach. Let's give him another nice round of applause. Gordy Longshaw, longtime supporter of Steubenville Central and Wheeling Central, Steubenville and Wheeling Central. Thank you so much for coming up. Joey and Abby Maroon and John Ballot, Al Davies, guys, thank you so much. We've had people drive a long distance, 2-3 hours to get here and support Wheeling Central and what we've been able to accomplish and me being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I have one person that I have 3 sons and a daughter, Whitney, Justin, John, Jason, and your spouses. Please stand up. Would you sit? Shelley, Aaron, and I've got, go ahead, Justin, okay. And I have a grandson in Abraham and Sam. Both Sam, Abe, stand up there. There you go, guys. The reason that I'm doing this is because the camera today is, somewhat on me, but my camera and my spotlight's on my support staff. It's on you. You guys make me what I am. And the person that makes me most what I am, and my backbone, and a woman that I love with all my heart that's given me so much support is my wife, Carol. Stand up, buddy. Now stand all the way up. Stand all the way up, not just halfway. Behind every successful man, there's a surprise mother-in-law. I am very blessed to have a great wife, and she is great support. I'm thanking these people, guys, because I may be getting this recognition, but this award and this, it goes to them. It goes to the people in my life. And you guys know what I'm saying, and you guys know what I'm saying. It's not about me, it's about we. It's not about I, it's about us. That's how you win games, that's how you win life. No one's ever done it alone, especially on a football field. You need that rest of that team around you. You gotta have blockers, you gotta have tacklers, you gotta have runners, you gotta have people that do their job. I am very blessed to be able to say that I've had great support from my administrator, Miss Becky Sancombe is here. I appreciate her coming up for this day. I know it's been a long one, but Becky, thank you, wherever you are. Please give me a, there you go. Thank you so very much. God bless you and your family. I'm trying to give this all out because, one, I know you've been here for over 3 hours. 2, I want to thank everybody that's been in my corner and supporting me. And I want to thank Lamont and Russell for getting me into this thing and the support you've given me in getting ready to be here. All of you guys, congratulations. And I think we need to get over to Shula's and have a nice drink and relax and have a good time. And God bless all of you, and thank you very much.
Three to go. A 1969 graduate of St. Ignatius High School, Chuck Kyle went on to become head coach of his alma mater from 1983 to 2022. In those 4 decades, Kyle led the Wildcats to 32 playoff appearances, 15 regional championships, 11 state titles, and 4 national championships. He won Ohio High School Football Coach of the Year award 4 times. In 2009, Kyle led Team USA, the first junior international football team, to an undefeated record at the International Federation of American Football Junior World Championships. He has a career record of 377, 108, and 1. Kyle is a St. Ignatius man through and through, dedicating almost 60 years of service as a student, player, teacher, and coach. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee, Chuck Kyle.
Good evening. First of all, Lamont and the committee, thank you very much. What a touching and just amazing to be sitting here with these men and the people from last year. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. I want to thank my family. I'm going to go a little history now. All right. So my grandfather, Fred Kyle Sr., was on a state championship team, Emsley, Alabama, in 1918. My father, Fred Kyle Jr., was on a state championship football team, Hammond, Indiana, in 1937. There was no pressure from my grandfather and from my father to carry on with some things that happened. They just wanted me to be happy and enjoy the game. And you know, there's one thing about this game. It seems to be family-oriented, right? It's passed down and from father to son and so on, so it's very nice. And speaking of family, well, my wife married me 49 and a half years ago. Let's understand something. We had 4 children, and here's this guy who coached football, taught English, coached track, so she was the best coach at that household, and certainly she coached me. So it's been just a rewarding and ongoing wonderful relationship and important to me. I thank St. Ignatius High School. My 3 older brothers went there, so obviously I was going to go there. The Jesuits, there's one thing about the Jesuits, they teach you a work ethic. I don't care how SAT scores or anything, you're going to walk out of that school and you better have a work ethic. And that goes with you the rest of your life. And that's, I think, I don't know if I'm a talented person, but I had a work ethic, and all these guys you look, that's why they're sitting here today. And those, you walk down to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and you see those guys that are in the hall. Yes, they were God-given talent, but they had a work ethic. And that was a wonderful part of this thing. Look, I came out of John Carroll University. I played in high school, a little bit in college. And here I am, I get hired as the English teacher and an assistant football coach, and the athletic director saw me the day I was signing my lucrative stipend or whatever it was, and he's walking by and goes, hey, you ran track when you were here, didn't you? And I said, yes, sir. You want to be head track coach? I said, yes. So that was 49 years of that also on the other part of the schedule. So, but they were all enjoyable and important part of this thing. So the game of football, right, and coaching football, whatever level you're at, first of all, you know, it's exciting and very interesting, and I caught on to this very quickly. I just got the bug to do this, right, is the chess match, the strategy, right, the technique. You're staying up at 2 in the morning worrying about how can I put the kids in a proper position so that they can make a play against this team you're playing. And the chess match sometimes happens like this. Your opponent may have bigger and faster chess pieces, so you better come up with a creative way of beating them. And that's what a coach tries to do. But I look at you and tell you this. I wouldn't have been in this for 50 years if it was just that. I look at you and tell you honestly that my job was not a job. My activity for 50 years was a vocation. That was what it was. It was a vocation. What I believed I had to do was to take these young men at a very, very early age of their life, and through the use of the game of football, best sport there is, the game of football. And through the game of football, I wanted to teach these young men simply this. I wanted to teach them to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually for any challenge they'll ever have in their life. The game of football, come on, they were 16, 17-year-old kids, right? And they loved it, and so they had a chance to experience how mentally difficult the game of football is, how physically challenging it is, and spiritually. Yes, you have to believe, don't you? Because if you don't have faith, there's no hope. And that's what they had to believe. Folks, I have 4 past players coaching in the NFL. I have 6 players right now playing in the NFL. I have a number of past players that are coaching in college and high school. And what a tremendous compliment I feel that is to me. Because I served them. I didn't coach them, I served them. I served as head football coach. And that's what I've always believed, because you know, the X's and O's are one thing, but to take a kid and to see it in his eyes, to see that moment when suddenly it was happening, and the love of that game continues on. And all these men right here, They had a high school football coach that gave them a spark, and look where they are today. Walk 400 yards down the road and go into the Hall of Fame and see those magnificent busts of the people that are in that Hall of Fame. And I guarantee you, there was a high school football coach that sparked them. And God bless them that they are. Thank you. I'm going to finish with just a quick story. So last football season, past players I mentioned, in Reno, you add one more name to your list of Ohio coaches. Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon is the head football coach of the Arizona Cardinals. The year before, he was in the Super Bowl as the defensive coordinator for the Eagles in a magnificent Super Bowl game, where unfortunately lost. The next day, the game happened to be in Arizona, right? The next day, he walks in and he accepts the job of being the head coach with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the record that year, I think they won one game, I think, something like that. But he accepted that job. So a few months go by, and he's in the middle of the season. They have one win. They're battling the fighting well. And I get a phone call, folks. I get a phone call, right, from John. And he goes, Coach, we're in Pittsburgh. Next week, could you come and talk to the team? John, I'm there, man. I will be there. I'll be there. So sure enough, Pittsburgh's what, two and a half hours away. Get there. And I'm standing in the back of the room, and I just want to share this story because, here are these young men that are going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers the next day. And you know how John introduced me? It was unbelievable. He simply said, fellas, I'm going to introduce you my head football coach in high school. This is the reason I'm a coach today. That's how he introduced me. So I was choked up for a few seconds walking up. Arizona Cardinals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers the next day. How about that, huh? Not anything I said, I'll believe me. Not anything I said, but they were good kids. And it strikes me, I got to tell you something. John, you walk up there and, all the pro football players, I'm going to talk to them. John, I stood up there and I looked around and, are you kidding me? They're kids. They're young guys, right? In this new adventure they're going. So that was a fun time. But don't ever, ever think that a football player forgets his high school football coach. They always remember. God bless you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Cal Jones was a standout lineman for the Steubenville Big Red in the early 1950s. Highly recruited, Jones made a last-minute decision choosing Iowa over Ohio State. As a Hawkeye, Jones earned All-American honors 3 times. In 1955, he became the first African-American to win the Outland Trophy presented to the nation's outstanding linemen. He excelled in the CFL, being named to the All-Star game his rookie season. Tragically, Jones perished in a plane crash in 1956. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1980. The street in front of Steubenville's Harding Stadium was renamed Calvin Jones Way to honor his legacy. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame Class of 2024 inductee and accepting for Cal Jones is Patty Jones.
Well, as you can see, I'm not Patty. My name is Fred Jones. I'm Calvin Jones's nephew. Shout out to Patty. Oh, here she comes. Actually, I was just planning to come and take part in the festivities, but Patty bullied me to come up here and put this red coat on. I'm just teasing.
No, I didn't. Listen, it's always an honor when they recognized my uncle. I could see him when he was going to high school playing for Big Red, and when he got killed in the plane crash, it was because he had went to see one of his fellow mates play, for another team. And I tell you, for the longest, I said, as strong as Calvin is, he's going to come home. He's going to beat this airplane. When you're only 10 years old, you think like that. But he didn't. But you know something? God is a good God. And he has really, really left a legacy. And he's had good coaches, a good school, and I'm just honored to be a part of it. I'm the oldest one in the family left, so they don't have a choice. I want you to keep it. Yeah.
Before I take my seat, I want to just share something real quick. The common denominator tonight is we. And as you heard the bio and the description of my uncle, he was on his way to Ohio State. Sorry, guys. But at the last minute, he flipped and made a commitment to Iowa. The reason being is because two of his best friends who he grew up with and played football with had committed to Iowa. And back then, there were no letter of intents. And when they came by to my grandmother's house to say goodbye, he packed a suitcase and jumped in the car with them. Now, we don't know how his legacy would have turned out then, but the concept of we in that moment continues, and it dwells in the game of football. And one last thing, I want to thank Coach Reno Sakach for keeping his legacy alive. With all his accomplishments, he could have just stood and carried his own weight and not remember the history of Steubenville High School football. So, Coach, thank you. Love you, appreciate you for that. And thank you, 740. Roll, Red, roll.
Ed Malinsky was a talented athlete, winning the Ohio State Golden Gloves heavyweight championship as a teenager. Massillon Tigers head football coach Paul Brown had to talk Ed's father out of pulling his son from the football team to concentrate on boxing. The young Malinsky stayed on the football team and became an outstanding guard and blocking back. The Tigers won a state and national championship his senior year in 1935. Malinsky went on to become a two-time All-American at the University of Tennessee. He was an integral member of the Vols' 1939 and 1940 national championship teams. Malinsky had a multifaceted career. His titles included football coach, professor of history and geography, team physician, and general practitioner. Everyone, National High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024 inductee, and accepting for Ed Malinsky is his son, Chuck.
Thank you all. I've been over here studying, and I've came to the conclusion that this microphone's getting really, really tired. So just a few things I wanted to say. One is thanks for the Hall of Fame for inducting my dad. I'm very proud of him, and he would be honored today to be included in a group like this. And also, it's great coming back. Me and my wife, Delia, have come from Memphis to accept this award for Dad. And he grew up down the street, really down the road a little bit in Massillon, playing for Coach Brown. Actually, he was Coach Brown's first player that he coached that became an All-American. But anyway, all the hospitality we've had and seeing some of my dad's old friends, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to chatting with this group and everybody here. Thank you very much.
All right, we're almost out of here, but last year, the inaugural class. It was a great class, and one of those members is here to say a few words and then send us on our way. Bernie Kosar.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure everybody's fired up to hear that I am the last guy speaking, so we will be trending home after this. Lamont, thanks for everything you do with the National High School Hall of Fame. Honored and proud to be one of the inaugural classes and started with you on it. I'm blessed to have my daughter Rebecca here today. Going to have her birthday tomorrow, and the family that we develop and the love I have and the blood that we have with my daughter Rebecca and my sibling and her siblings is a blessing to me, but also the blessing to count this as our brotherhood and some of the things that we all go through and the trials and tribulations. Bobby D mentioned a little bit about some of the health stuff. Harvey, when you weren't sacking me on 2nd and 8, okay? We were talking about how all of us up here go through issues, how all of us sitting out there have issues physically, personally, mentally in our lives. And one of the great things about high school football and our communities and the brotherhood of football is it really pulls us all together. And it has a sense of awareness and a sense of help in that brotherhood. And when Nate says that, you know, maybe his 11-year career wasn't just to be a receiver, and maybe God's blessing was to be heard and spread his message now at this point in his life. I think a lot of us here maybe thought our life calling was to be football players, but there's a bigger responsibility for a lot of us out there. And I really love, again, Lamont and your principle of what you're doing in communities, and the guys up here, what you're doing in your communities. And high school football and high school epitomizes what's beautiful about our country. So the influence that our high school coaches had on us today. I played in the pros, got a Super Bowl, played at college, got a national championship. But the core foundation of what I stand for really came from Coach Gene Pushik and here in Northeastern Ohio. So the influence that a lot of us could have on each other, keep passing it forward. God bless you. I say you matter a lot, not for the University of Miami, but I really believe in self-confidence and self-esteem. And if we're able to pass it forward and let everybody know that you really matter. God bless you.
All right, we just want to acknowledge one more member. Josh Cribbs could not be here tonight, but he is a member of this Hall of Fame class, so congratulations to Josh. And there you have it, 35 new members of the National High School Football Hall of Fame for the class of 2024. Thank you all so much. You deserve a round of applause yourself. Have a great evening, and we hope to see you back here for next year's class of 2025. Good night.